It's 8 p.m. We're actually on time this week. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, but I think I've got a pretty solid list for us to get started on. So, let's see here. There we go. Okay, so last week, or last stream, we ended up reading roughly halfway down into my most recent story, Chasing Stardust, and day before yesterday, I ended up posting chapter 2 to that story. So if you guys are interested, I'll just go ahead and drop the link into the chat. You guys can read that at your leisure. But tonight, we're going to be jumping into the middle of chapter 1 for this one and get that running here and continue onward. So, if you missed last time, that's okay. The story is just as good either way. So, you're not going to be disappointed by what you encounter. Anyway, what do you guys say we stop all of this silliness and we'll get right into it? So, Chasing Stardust. Brief synopsis here. 1,000 years ago, you were the betrothed of Princess Luna. Now, having found a method to eternal life, you return to Equestria to find not a warm welcome, but the anguish of 1,000 years bearing down upon you. Weather the storm brave and on, you have a lot to answer for. So, what does he have to answer for? Let's find out, shall we? Chapter 1, midway through. I'm going to go ahead and clear that bookmark. The clanging echoes of ceremonial gongs reverberate throughout the ornately decorated throne chamber. Twin columns of zebra warriors in resplendent obsidian plate stand at stiff attention, flanking the regal pathway leaning towards the raised dais, where 4 imposing thrones sit vacant in 4 perpendicular corners of the circular room. Your heart pounds in your ears as you stride forth, hands clasped behind your back in a purposeful display of composure. Despite your outward calm, the beads of sweat prickling along the nape of your neck betray your inner trepidation at petitioning the royal family. 2 years of preparation, 1 misplaced step, 1 breach of etiquette you've studied so intently could see you jailed, or worse. At last you reach the center of the throne room and execute a low, sweeping bow, movements measured and deliberate. Royal brothers and esteemed custodians of the royal court, you intone formally. This unworthy traveler seeks indulgence to petition the wisdom of thy support. You've spent your travels practicing your rhymes. You knew that would go a long way for their trustworthiness if you did so. For a heartbeat, utter silence reigns within the cavernous throne room. Then, a subtle stir from one of the 4 empty seats draws your gaze. A petitioner humble and bold. Oh. Midway through. Mazian, indomitable human spirit. All right, I will go ahead and add that to the list once we finish this one here. So. A petitioner humble and bold. His plea we shall unfold. The baritone voice booms from one of the thrones as its previous occupant simply fades into view. A towering, muscular zebra draped in ornate golden robes, bedeckled with glittering jade and turquoise. Prince Azante, master of traditions. Tilting his regal striped head, he regards you with unblinking amber eyes. Within our storied realm there be few as well versed in courtesy. This time the speaker materializes upon the throne to your left, a reclining figure swathed in shimmering veils the color of a desert sunset. Prince Marazzo, master of deserts. Despite his diaphanous nature, each silken layer seems to contain a faint, shifting pattern, reminiscent of tiny hieroglyphs. Well met, thou well-spoken shade, the zebra rumbles in a smoky alto. Thy purpose plied, let it now fade. Another flicker of motion claims your peripheral vision. Another prince, adorned in layers of fine linen and draped with strings of ivory shark teeth, leans forward to appraise you with a lupine grin. This seeker driven by desperation's tide, he intones with a chuckle. Quest most faithful doth herein reside. Prince Zavaka, master of the hunt. Finally, the last of the four royals shimmers into view in a swirl of midnight plumes. His imposing frame is cloaked in the darkest onyx, offset by subtle embroidery and pale moonglow thread. Prince Nohanza, master of night's secrets. For immortal secrets here be won, the ebon-furred ruler declares solemnly, or a life forever undone. Their rhymes flow in an almost hypnotic rhythm, challenge and promise intermingled in equal measure. Immortal secrets await here, they say, or perhaps utter ruination for those ill-prepared? Well, you've come too far to balk at such dramatic overtures. With a deferential dip of your head, you raise your left hand open and accept their ultimatum. If immortality be the prize to claim, then steep any cost in its relentless flame, you declare, pitching your voice to carry through the vaulted chamber. For our quest is steeped in purpose most true, to gift the greatest love this world doth knew. You punctuate the statement by dropping to one knee, right hand pressed to your chest in a symbolic vow. For a beat, the only sound is your own hammering heartbeat, thrumming in your ears. A series of inscrutable looks pass between the four princes, their judgments unspoken, yet tangible in the fraught silence. At long last, Prince Azante leans forward, muscular frame creaking faintly in the throne. An earnest soul beset by love's cruel plight, he rumbles in that deep baritone voice, stands before us this eventide night. His amber eyes seem to bore straight through you, gleaming with flecks of inscrutable starlight. Yet to unlock the vaults of endless life, a sterner challenge must outweigh such strife. Thank you, Lightning Burn, for the super chat. I will add that to the list as well. A subtle shudder courses through the assemblage at those cryptic words. You can't help but swallow hard, all too aware of the stakes riding on those regal brothers' judgment. Prince Morazzo drapes himself languidly over the armrest of his throne, vaporous veils shimmering hypnotically. One most tenacious to seek our mystic arts, he drawls in that smoky alto, yet still green as the moss on forest hearts. The lithe royal quirks a bemused look at his kin before returning his half-lidded scrutiny to you. While admirable in ways vast and small, so too is the hubris lurking to ensnare all. Next, Prince Zavaka lounges back against his throne of polished bone and embroidered linen. His grin remains fixed and unwavering as he considers you with an almost predatory gleam. A bold soul, drunk on dream's decadence ye be. Though paved in bliss, the path is thorned sea to sea. You can't repress a slight shiver, not of fear or intimidation, but at the primal spark burning in the prince's pale orange eyes, as if he could scent the churning tempest of your desires like a lion scenting blood. All the while, the eldest prince, Nohanza, regards you with an inscrutable and decidedly disquieting silence. Those onyx depths give no quarter, no sliver of emotion nor judgment to guide you through these treacherous straits. He is the sea of night itself, glassy, fathomless, and capable of dragging you under into oblivion with nary a ripple. Prince Azante leans forward, his musculature rippling beneath ornate robes and jade adornments. Thy quest is noble in its underpinnings, we admit, he rumbles, fixing you with that piercing amber glare. Yet danger most dire lurks in equal measure. A heavy price indeed you'll be forced to acquit. You incline your head respectfully, unmoved by such dramatic proclamations. Then let the toll be levied, good prince. that we might settle accounts whole. We shall not let this stand in the way of our goal. A flicker of what might be amusement ghosts across Marazzo's vaporous countenance. With sinuous motion, he unfurls from his lounging repose to drift closer, shimmering veils trailing in his wake like an aurora's afterglow. Bold words from a sprightly soul so untested, he murmurs, smoke-shrouded tones carrying an undercurrent of dark promise. We shall see if that ardor can stand bravely invested. As the Leith Prince settles at the very edge of the dais directly before you, Zavaka leans in with a sound that almost sounds like a pony's nickering. This desert flower proved too thorny for thy tender dispositions, he challenges with a smirk, or shalt thou bend knee and charter expedition? You level a steady look between the two, offering a diplomatic shrug. Just so, good princes, set forth your terms, and see them met with ready resolve. For our beloved awaits on the other side of this trial, thus I shall not dissolve. At last, Prince Nohanza stirs with the shadowed recesses, within the shadowed recesses of his throne. Then sworn be thy will to the old rites, he rumbles in a voice like stones grinding together in the dark. Surrender thy life entire. Surrender thy life entire on this night. Only once unmade and remade anew shall the power of forever open unto you. A chill trickles down your spine at the Ebon Ruler's foreboding proclamation. Yet some core part of your being remains unshakable even in the face of his dire ultimatum. You came too far and sacrificed too much to be deterred now. Looking each prince in the eye, you proclaim. Not the burp. Then let tonight mark the first breath of our second verse. We shall give all to transcend our mortal curse. The zebra rulers exchange inscrutable looks. So let it be woven, they reply in chilling unison. The young ward hath spoken. All four stand and stamp their hooves in rhythmic unison. If immortality doth be what thou request, for 999 years will thee serve at our behest. I have to say, it was so fucking hard to come up with those rhymes, to get that, to get the gravitas that scene needed. Anyway, continuing onward. Here we go. In Farazian culture, the number 9 is oft associated with selflessness and the desire to serve others, you explain, dipping your head respectfully to the Night Princess. Thus, in exchange for divulging the secrets of the elixir that giveth youthful vigor, I was to serve the royal family for 999 years. During which time I would practice alchemy and potion brewing alongside the royal apothecaries, serving in the palace until such time as my agreement was completed. Princess Luna's ethereal mane undulates in the cosmic downpour, starry strands flickering and pulsing with each shift of her mood. Her regal features remain inscrutable as you recount the tale of your ill-fated deal with the Farazian princes all those centuries ago. She blinks slowly, turquoise eyes glimmering with hints of something indiscernible. Resignation, amusement, skepticism. Discerning the true root of her thoughts proves difficult. With Luna, you've always sensed layers upon layers of emotion and wisdom lying beneath that cultured facade of regal propriety. So, her rich alto tones roll forth, profoundly resonant, yet velveteen soft. Thou didst truly trade the lion's share of a mortal life's duration for this. One winged brow arches in a delicate curve as the princess gestures vaguely towards the phial clutched in your hand. Alchemical panacea, as it were. A subtle edge of sardonic incredulity laces those words, dripping from Luna's tongue like sweet poison. You can't deny a slight twinge of indignation at her dismissive tone. What? Did she expect you to simply recount the secret to limitless longevity like a trifling court jester's punchline? Indeed. You meet her pointed look with one of utmost sincerity. Head held high despite her obvious skepticism. 9 centuries and 99 years I labored. First in apprenticeship, transcribing the Pharasian master's knowledge of alchemy and potions. Not unlike a unicorn's tutelage, I suppose. The faintest ghost of a wistful smile tugs at the corner of your mouth. Their brews were potent, if unsubtle in methodology. Not at all like the ethereal tinctures of equestrian magic. Luckily, for a non-magical creature such as myself, the zebra arts relied only upon fertile imagination and tireless study of this world's natural bounties. You raise the phial, thus allowing the soft torchlight to render its syrupy amber contents in molten hues. This particular infusion was derived from the nectar of the golden bloom that gives it its name, a rare desert orchid only grown in the Pharasian royal palace, harvested under the light of a solar eclipse. Unbidden, your gaze flits towards Luna of its own accord. You find her studying you with that same inscrutable intensity, burning curiosity warring with ingrained skepticism. A muscle twitches ever so faintly along her jawline as her tongue moistens full lips in an equine gesture of pensive contemplation. Squaring your shoulders almost unconsciously, you forge onward. The harvested nectar was then fermented with the distillate of an artisan grain spirit, catalyzing the orchid's latent rejuvenating properties over a 2-year period. You can't resist a rueful chuckle. I nearly went mad with impatience during that second year, I'll admit. Unwittingly acting the part of the fretful groom pining for a bride that was, in truth, every aspect of immortality itself. Those words seemed to strike a chord within the regal alicorn. You notice her throat constrict in a faint swallow, stormy gaze momentarily fracturing to reveal a glimpse of some deeper emotion simmering beneath the surface. Just as quickly, those teal irises glaze over once more as Luna reasserts her air of haughty aloofness. You stand before her silent majesty for what feels like a small eternity, the air heavy with tension as the weight of too many bygone years. Princess Luna regards the phial of alleged immortality in your grasp with an inscrutable gaze. Her regal head tilts, ethereal mane swirling like cosmic dream catchers cast in deepest navy. Those cerulean eyes narrow, brimming with swirling eddies of skepticism and something deeper. A hint of yearning, perhaps? Or even dread? Whatever emotions churn behind that stoic facade, the Princess of the Night does not deign to voice them. Instead, Luna straightens her regal bearing, feathery wings giving an agitated twitch as she glances sidelong at the small gathering of Ponyville citizens gawking nearby. A slight sneer pulls at the corner of her muzzle. "Thou hast our indulgence for the present moment, knave," the alicorn decrees in a tone that brokered no disagreements. "Yet our patience shall not be tormented indefinitely. Make plain what keenness of enlightenment thou seekest to impart upon us, and swiftly, lest we lose what little remains of our aristocratic restraint." From the corner of your eye, you spy a pair of young fillies goggling in awestruck stupor, having crept halfway out from their hiding spot behind a nearby apple cart. Even through their frilly Nightmare Night costumes, their eyes remained locked on Luna with an enraptured gaze that seems to drink in her every imposing movement. Before you can so much as open your mouth, however, the princess beats you to the proverbial punch. "Hasten thy tale," she commands brusquely, giving a terse flick of her swan-like neck. "For there is but one truth we crave with our soul entire, the reason thou didst abandon us to suffer in desolation for 1,000 years bereft of thy light." Ah, and so the heart of the issue the princess strikes. Her voice drops to a darker timbre, resonating with that fathomless depth of wisdom and emotion only an immortal could muster. Luna's radiant mane billows, aurora flickering behind her eyes like foxfire. Deliver unto us this revelation of purpose behind thy betrayal. And then," she pauses, throat constricting in an equine swallow, "and then we shall determine what further judgments must needs be rendered." Beside you, a hushed, almost reverent silence descends over the town's ponies. Clearly they sense the pivotal moment you now find yourself thrust into. A dozen pairs of eyes watch you with rapt attentiveness, waiting alongside their princess for the explanation that, fairly or not, may ultimately decide your fate here tonight. Excuse me. Perhaps, in hindsight, you reflect, leading with a dramatic unveiling of your rejuvenating elixir wasn't the subtlest move. The look of utter skepticism, bordering on outright scorn, plastered across Luna's noble features is evidence enough of that tactical misstep. And yet, how else to impress upon this immortal mare the gravity of your quest? The lengths to which you willingly subjugated yourself in pursuit of a gift worthy of her eternal radiance. Words alone seem cheap by comparison. Her mane ripples and billows with cosmic energies, turquoise depths burning like twin supernova. You can all but see the exasperation radiating outwards in waves. Yet you stand your ground, squaring your shoulders against the coming storm. For a beat, you simply regard this immortal majesty, your heart's one true desire, the guiding star that pulled you across 1,000 years. All the justifications, rationales, and pretty words seem to shrivel upon your tongue in the face of such brutally candid hurt and anguish. As you've surmised already, most regal and insightful majesty, you begin in an even baritone. My intentions were never to inflict agonies upon you. Quite the contrary. Your words trail off as you unconsciously lift the phial of rejuvenating elixir towards the moonlight. The syrupy amber liquid catches on those silvery beams and glows like molten citrine. I sought only to ensure my insignificant light might join yours in perpetuity. To give you a love unbroken by mortality's cruel march and the ceaseless turning of time's dread wheel. You can't resist quirking the faintest of rueful smiles, even as you feel your heart constrict within your breast. Was it childishly naive of me? Yes. But I was young and painfully enamored by you, the immortal personification of the cosmos themselves, cloaked in mere mortal flesh. How could I not thirst for a way to stand eternal vigil by your side? And so I left. Not out of scorn or malice, but in the prideful, selfish pursuit of this vision. You shake your head slowly, unable to quell a rueful edge to your tone. I wished to remain by your side forevermore, not as a mere memory, but as flesh and blood, youthful evermore. Instead, all I ended up doing was subjecting you to 1,000 years of torment. The confession hangs in the air between you and the Princess of the Night, like a guillotine blade. Luna's ethereal mane writhes and swirls with celestial energies, giving her an utterly otherworldly, nigh godlike air as she regards you from the corner of her eye. Those turquoise depths gleam brighter than any star, ancient and inscrutable. For a long, pregnant pause, naught but the skittering of ponies shifting on their hooves and the occasional crack of wagon wheels punctuates the fraught silence. Then, with tantalizing slowness, Luna pivots to face you fully. Wings rustling in an unconscious display of poise and power, she draws herself up to her full statuesque height. Let us ensure we grasp thy tale accurately, knave. Her regal tones drip with acid, each syllable etched in icy disdain. Thou didst abandon your betrothed bride on the eve of our holy union, fleeing into the blackest night like a craven thief absconding with ill-gained bounty. The princess stalks towards you in a series of disciplined, almost predatory strides. Townsponies squeak and scatter to clear a wide berth. Those terrible wings flare in silent threat, blotting out the very moon itself with unfurled vastness. All to undertake a fool's quest, in pursuit of imbibing... Her regal muzzle curls in a contemptuous sneer as she gestures towards the phial still clutched numbly in her hand. Some fanciful zebra-spun necromancy. Despite her diminutive stature compared to you, the sheer oppressive aura of Luna's presence makes her seem to loom like an unfurling storm front. The air itself grows heavier, thicker, redolent with the metallic tang of ozone and smoldering embers. And let us not dissemble, knave, the princess spits, her baleful gaze locked squarely with yours. For it was that arrogance, that pathetic mortal vanity, which loosed Nightmare Moon upon our benighted realm. Shockwaves of pure force ripple outward in concentric rings from Luna's withers. Panicked whinnies and shrieks fill the air as ponies cower and flee for cover. Even the earth itself seems to tremble, quailing beneath the princess's unleashed fury. Yet despite this maelstrom of rage scorching the air around you, you find your footing remains inexplicably steady. Resolve settles into your soul like an anchor in a raging tempest, as you meet Luna's withering onslaught with unflinching calm. For it is only now, with the bitter truth laid bare between you at long last, that the burden of 1,000 years begins to lift. Your anger is just, Princess, you reply, making sure to keep your tone even and respectful. I'll not rebuke the severity of the burden my selfish exodus inflicted upon you and your subjects. Any pleas for exculpation would only cheapen the suffering you endured. I stand before you tonight, bruised and battered by the relentless march of lifetimes, yet nevertheless here, accepting of whatever fate you would have for me. A near imperceptible sigh parts your lips as those ancient eyes that you knew more intimately than your own, hold you transfixed like a butterfly pinned to cotton wool. My quest met with success, and yet the true victory remains incomplete. You cannot resist reaching out to her, a pleading expression writ plain across your face. For what good is life, whether mortal or eternal, without thy radiant light to share it with, sweet moonbeam? The air hangs thick with tension, charged particles bristling in the space between yourself and the Princess of the Night. Her ethereal mane writhes and crackles like a living corona, luminous strands shimmering with stray arcs of energy. Those smoldering turquoise irises burn hotter than small suns, reflecting the inferno of righteous fury blazing within Luna's regal soul. Do you hear yourself? She seethes, words etched in acid. Such petulant, self-serving justifications you offer up, in the face of your betrayal! Each syllable lashes across your exposed soul like a scorpion's sting. Yet you remain steadfast in the face of Luna's onslaught, though gears grind furiously behind those ancient eyes. The princess practically vibrates with the force of her mounting indignation, tail flashing like an enraged dragon's. An immortal gift, was it? A labor of love, to eternally bind our souls in sacred communion? She snarls, wings flaring to their fullest span. The raw cosmic energy swirling about her frame intensify, forcing any nearby ponies to stagger back from the oppressive aura unleashed. Lies. Dark, oily smoke begins seeping from the corners of Luna's eyes, tears of celestial ichor tracking crimson paths down her cheeks. Every last honeyed syllable naught but craven lies and pathetic self-aggrandizement! The increasingly haggard princess throws back her regal head and screams, a hollow, lancing note of purest, distilled torment that reverberates to your very marrow. Ponies shriek and cower as the sound tears across the night. Ponies shriek and cower as the sound tears across the night like a physical force. Windows rattle in their frames. The very earth itself quakes beneath your feet. And through it all, you remain transfixed, unable to tear your gaze from Luna's terrible visage. She sucks in a ragged breath, starry mane undulating in slow, grieving sweeps. Your vows of eternal fidelity ring hollow from between lips that abandoned me 1,000 endless nights ago! You can only watch as the Night Princess buckles forward in the fervent emotional storm. Her entire lithe frame trembles, racked by unnamed agonies older than mortal time itself. And then she lifts her head to bestow upon you a look of such naked, wounded betrayal that it cleaves straight to the primal core of your soul. Her next words come hushed, a stark whisper that cuts deeper than any scream or raging cry could hope to achieve. Do you even comprehend what you stole from me by your selfish vanishment anon? She pleads, ancient eyes glistening. The desolation of an eternity spent without the one sole light I craved? Tears spill freely down Tears spill freely down those azure cheeks, viscous starlight streaming unheeded for all of Ponyville to behold. And in that heart-shredding moment, you catch a glimpse of the child beneath the god, your dream princess, utterly devastated by your choices. Turquoise eyes ablaze with the cosmic fire of 1,000 dying suns bore directly into you. You feel the smoldering heat of Luna's wounded gaze, searing past all physical barriers to penetrate straight to your very essence. Those azure depths reflect a universe of anguish and rage. Turbulent nebulae swirling amidst infinite blacknesses, too deep to fathom. The Princess of the Night commands all your focus. Your entire world narrows to that single stricken visage of betrayal made manifest. Her full lips part, venting a rattled sob that sounds as old and weary as entropy itself. Streaks of celestial starlight drip unheeded down those regal azure cheeks, tracing glistening paths through the sleek fur. Despite the grandeur of her winged splendor, in this moment, Luna seems so achingly, heart-wrenchingly small. Not a timeless archon of cosmic mystery, but simply an achingly vulnerable soul laid raw from eons of unslackable loneliness and bitter despair. The absolute perfect personification of pure, distilled heartbreak. It's only now that you fully comprehend the magnitude of what you wrought by your selfish pursuit of immortal life at Luna's side. More than a mere romantic slight or youthful impulsiveness, your flight from her was an act of utter and complete soul-rending. For so long you've carried the weight of your perceived noble quest like a battle standard, marching forth with zealous conviction. Surely your dedication and sacrifices would sway Luna's heart once the full narrative of your exodus unfolded, right? Yet, confronted by the stark, naked reality of her devastation, every honeyed justification withers on your tongue to bitter ash. You want to reach out, to gather this immortal spirit in your arms and beg her forgiveness 1,000 times over. Yet all you can do is remain anchored in place, letting that unraveling tide crash over you again and again. Within those blazing turquoise irises, you behold whole galaxies of sorrow swirl amidst infinite lightless voids. To gaze too deeply invokes a soul-level vertigo, the existential dread of confronting mysteries too vast for mortal minds to ponder over long. A tremor racks your frame as the enormity of your sins settles into your gut like a leaden weight. You collapse to your knees, hands only moving in time to catch yourself from smacking upon the cobblestones. The princess is right. No boons of longevity or promises of eternal union could ever atone for the metaphysical trauma your actions inflicted upon her very essence. You don't just stand accused of abandoning a lover. No, your sin cuts far deeper, maiming the very spirit of night itself in ways mortal psyches could scarcely conceive. With your thoughtless exodus, you inflicted a metaphysical trauma beyond quantifying. How could you, a mere mayfly flickering in and out of existence, ever hope to encompass the true depths of Luna's devastation during her 1,000 years of harrowing isolation? Of course, no ephemeral boon of longevity or rejuvenating alchemies could ever atone for such a cosmic transgression. The four princes were right all those centuries ago. You'd let your hubris, your greed, cloud everything. All this time, you thought you'd been serving others, but in reality, you only did so as a means to serve yourself. Truly, a craven knave to the very end. For the first time since embarking on your ill-fated journey, you find the path ahead utterly obfuscated. Every carefully laid stone of your grand design lies in shattered ruins at your feet, pulverized by cosmic forces too infinite to circumvent. Even if granted literal forever by the zebra's fabled alchemies, how could you ever hope to redress such devastation? You open your mouth to speak, but the words simply won't come. What's left to say, pray tell? I'm so sorry, princess. You tremble, head dipping down to the cobblestones. I'm sorry, love. You squint your eyes shut, hands shaking as you press them together, as if prostrating in fervent prayer. I'm so sorry, you repeat, muttering over and over again, as tears begin falling from your face, the anguish and realization of what you've done, too much for your soul to bear, mortal or not. I don't deserve you. I'm a damned fool to the end. The penitent words spill from your lips like droplets of blood. You kneel before Princess Luna, head bowed, your entire being a study in contrition given mortal flesh. All about you, the townsponies of Ponyville gawp in mute astonishment at this unfolding spectacle. Luna herself draws in a shuddering breath, turquoise eyes burning with the cosmic fire of 1,000 dying suns. Her mane writhes with celestial energies, arcs of stray power crawling across those ethereal strands. For a span of several heartbeats, she regards you with an expression too complex, too devastated to parse. Then, with a subtle inclination of her regal head, the princess wills herself to composure. The wild corona of her mane smooths, currents of magic ebbing against like the outgoing tides. When at last she speaks, her words ring forth in that cultured canterlocution. Rise, anon. We shall have words, thee and I. Luna holds your gaze steadily, the barest hint of naked vulnerability flickering behind those Stygian depths. All round you, ponies scramble in a bustle of flustered whispers and sidelong glances. Parents usher foals towards the fringes, whilst others simply gape with unabashed curiosity. Even oblivious to the scrutiny, you can't help but feel the full weight of Luna's imperious presence, searing straight through to your very soul. With a trembling sigh, you haul yourself upright to face her majesty. Those terrible wings give a slight ruffle, azure plumes rearranging themselves in an almost self-conscious display. The princess pivots on one hoof, then gestures with an infinitesimal tilt of her horn. Let us depart this spectacle. Her next words drop to a conspiratorial murmur, clearly intended only for your ears. We grow weary of prying eyes. Without awaiting your assent, the Alicorn mare turns in a sweep of ethereal tresses and strides towards the outskirts of the town square. Over one withers, she tosses a final cryptic glance your way, one that brooks no refusal. Come along. There are matters requiring further elucidation. You follow behind as the princess beckons with a subtle inclination of her horn. Her ethereal mane flows behind like rivulets of stardust, obscuring much of her petite frame from view. Yet you catch glimpses. The slight sway of her flanks, the imperious angle of those feathery wings furling and unfurling in a subconscious display of regal poise. Your eyes flick towards the gathering crows of rubbernecking onlookers, and you suppress a wince. Just another public spectacle for Equestria's never-ending rumor mill to chew over. Even 1,000 years later, you're aptly familiar with the notion. Up ahead, Luna leads on in a measured, unhurried stride, clearly masking a disquiet that simmers beneath that unflappable exterior. Her tail swishes in tight, agitated arcs, the only outward betrayal of whatever maelstrom rolls just beneath that placid surface. You fall and step silently several paces behind, uncertain whether to match her pace or give some deference with added distance. She approaches the chariot from earlier that night, her thestral bat pony guards ever vigilant as they cast you a suspicious eye. Princess Luna's horn glows faintly as she floats herself up into the chariot, wings furling and unfurling with patrician grace. Those thestral guards, their flared nostrils and narrowed eyes tracking your every move, bristle ever so slightly at your forward momentum. She catches your tentative pause, however, arching one slender brow in an unmistakable challenge. Our words were not mere suggestions, sirrah. Board this conveyance and accompany us post-haste. Her regal tones brook no further dissension. With a muted snort, the princess settles herself amidst the chariot's plush cushions, swishing her ethereal tail idly as she awaits your compliance. The Thestrals exchange a look, hulking shoulders rising and falling in an approximation of a shrug. One knuckles his brow in a gruff salute, as their wings unfurl with an audible rip of stretching membranes. Whether through raw defiance or simple bemusement at the sheer absurdity of it all, you can't quite decide. Nonetheless, you steel yourself with a breath and step forward, clambering up into the chariot to settle gingerly on the padded seat across from Luna. Almost immediately, the Thestrals leap skyward, powerful wing beats kicking up miniature cyclones in their wake. They pull the chariot aloft with startling swiftness, clearing the rooftops of Ponyville in the span of a few heartbeats. Beneath you, the panicked townsponies look on in awestruck silence as their regal ruler simply spirited away into the night, along with that strange, imposing creature, seemingly at the heart of this cosmic unraveling. Luna regards you sidelong during your rapid ascent, inscrutable thoughts churning behind those ancient, fathomless depths. The chariot's motion grows smoother as the Thestrals find their cadence, gliding on the currents of cool autumn winds. Doth this conveyance bring thee discomfort? The princess inquires after a contemplative pause. 'Tis admittedly ill-suited to thy lack of wings, we must confess. There's an undercurrent of something in her tone just then. Idle curiosity? A subtle attempt at levity following your rather fraught reunion? Perhaps even the beginnings of yet another subtle barb ready to be loosed at a moment's provocation? Regardless, those mercurial irises remain locked to yours, awaiting your response with what you can only describe as placid expectation. Whatever inner storm rages behind that facade, for now, at least, it holds its peace, albeit tenuously. No, princess, 'tis fine, you murmur, unsure of what to say. Still, as always, you forge ahead. I fear I've dashed your hopes for a joyous nightmare night in the most thoughtless fashion imaginable. You're not quite sure how to respond to Princess Luna's tentative overture. The surreal spectacle of cruising through the night sky in Her Majesty's royal chariot has a way of rendering mere words clumsily impotent. Does one quip about the accommodations, wax philosophical about the scenic vistas afforded by open-air flight? Fat chance. Navigating the mercurial temperaments of Alicorn princesses is already a fraught affair without piling on sardonic bon mots, especially when said Alicorn remains visibly teetering on the precipice between righteous fury and something far more dangerous. Something tender and vulnerable that you sense would shatter like spun glass at the slightest misstep. Still, sitting here in charged silence quickly grows stifling. The Thestral's rhythmic wing beats provide a steady cadence, but do little to fill the palpable void. Luna casts you sidelong glances from beneath hooded lids, each one carrying faint hints of unnamed emotions flickering through those azure irises. At last, she breaks the stillness, words measured with regal bearing. 1,000 years past, yet 1,000 years past, you spurned our intended union in pursuit of... She pauses fractionally, as though tasting the words before uttering them. Immortal Congress. A goal thou now claimst attained. Oh? Is that a subtle note of skepticism lacing her tone? The princess leans in infinitesimally, feathery wingtips giving an agitated twitch. Wherefore, then, didst thou return to Equestria now after all this age? What inscrutable aim guides thy course on this hallowed of nights? Those ancient eyes pin you in place with their cosmic intensity, daring you to so much as omit a single undergirding truth. At her core, Luna has ever remained relentlessly forthright, a seeker of unvarnished realities beneath layers of obfuscation. At this point, you're not even sure. Making good on your promise, you shattered that trust the moment you left. Yet she demands an explanation, and so you shall give. Truthfully, I know not anymore, you mutter, clasping your hands together as you look down at them. My servitude in Farazi ended months ago. Immediately I gathered my things and made for Equestria as soon as I was able. You pause a few seconds, tilting your gaze back up to tentatively to the princess. I'd planned on traveling to Canterlot proper to have made my appearance, giving us both time to prepare, but I was traveling through Ponyville tonight and decided to enjoy some of the festivities before making my way further towards the capital. I hadn't expected an appearance from royalty this far out, but you trail off, unsure of how to continue from there. You'd also chosen this route in order to You'd also taken You'd also chosen this route in order to take some time to pay reverence at the ruins of the Castle of the Two Sisters. You spent plenty of time traveling its long, wasted-away halls, revisiting old paths you traveled, the royal archives where your nights of research took place leading up to you leaving, the winding staircase towards Luna's personal bed chambers you'd always fantasized about being able to walk along unmolested, up to your awaiting paramour, all fallen to ruin after that fateful night. I saw what happened at to the castle in the Everfree. I'm sorry about that too. You say, not an ounce of the characteristic coyness or mirth behind your tone. I'm afraid there was no grand cosmic plan behind my return, Princess, you admit with a rueful shake of your head. Only ever a foolish old man wishing to reunite with his beloved and reclaim those halcyon days of passion and romance, you sigh. Though, I suppose such notions are that idealistic youthful vigor of mine shining through even after all this time. Or stubbornness. Or both. Princess Luna's ethereal mane dances in cosmic ripples, mirroring those heavenly lights flickering across her midnight coat. She regards you sidelong through hooded turquoise spheres, fins quirking in that peculiar equine gesture of piqued curiosity. Thou hast spoken plainly of thy aims, she murmurs at length, words carrying the weight of a royal decree. Yet we confess to sensing obfuscations shrouded neath thy pledges of affection eternal. A delicate winged brow angles upward, wordless challenge to rebuke her accusation. Those terrible cosmic eyes narrow infinitesimally as she drinks in the sight of you, squirming beneath her imperious scrutiny. Art thou certain no ulterior motivations steer thy course, strange one? Luna intones, every syllable etched in acid skepticism. Some deeper ambition lurking obscured behind honeyed vows of courtly dalliance? The princess leans in until you can taste the electric tang of magic on the air gusting from her flared nostrils. Here is the full, terrible brunt of a nigh immortal spirit's incisive discernment focused squarely upon you. Like a butterfly pinned beneath a cosmic lens, your every involuntary twitch and furtive eye movement is mercilessly catalogued and dissected for hidden meanings. Speak true, Sirrah, she commands in a tone that brooks no dalliance. We would have this entire truth set plain, ere proceeding any further down whatever tangled path fate hath woven. Never have, never would dream of it. You shake your head, meeting her gaze steadily now. My only singular motivation, ambition, was always you, whether foolish or not. As my betrothed, You trail off, lost for words as you search her eyes for something, anything. I wished only for your happiness, love. For the span of several beats, Princess Luna simply regards you, nostrils twitching almost imperceptibly as she mulls over your plaintive avowal. That star-swept mane billows in a cosmic tide, ethereal tresses rippling across her withers in mesmerizing undulations. At last, the regal alicorn leans back with an inscrutable dip of her head, begrudging acknowledgement, fleeting amusement at the sheer audacity of your claims, or perhaps some deeper sardonic musing upon the vagaries of fate that seem to endlessly draw you both into its tangled weave, no matter how frayed those threads may become. Regardless, the princess's voice rings forth, rich and resonant when next she speaks. So be it, strange one. Her words hold an exploratory cadence, as if testing the very syllables upon her tongue. For present, we shall accept thy claims of singular ardor at humble face value. One feathery wing extends in an unconscious sweep, as your primaries trailing idle patterns across the chariot's cushioned interior. Though, we must confess, the mind boggles at the implications therein. A love so profound as to tempt the very laws of celestial reality. Those turquoise irises gleam with a hint of sardonic whimsy. One might be forgiven for mistaking such fervent convictions as the maunderings of a mad pony, Sirrah. Or, she hesitates fractionally, as if considering whether to veer her line of inquiry down a new avenue. But for once, discretion prevails in the Princess of the Night's domain. No matter. She demurs with a negligent toss of her radiant mane. Her gaze bores into yours, smoldering like the hearts of long-dead stars. Suffice to say, we are intrigued to plumb these mysteries in greater depth. If thou art truthful in thy vigor, then what unspools from here shall prove most elucidating indeed for us both. The princess pauses, as if awaiting acknowledgement, but you know better by now than to speak over her regal silences unbidden. Sure enough, she presses on after those few charged heartbeats. For make no mistake, strange one, we shall be watchful for even the faintest deceptions or failings in thine intent. There's an undercurrent of hardness behind those words, echoing like the grinding of cosmic gears. See that no veils of honeyed artifice sully what vows and oaths thee makest unto us going forth. With a swish of her ethereal tail, Luna leans back into the chariot's cushions, regarding you with imperious aspect. The achingly vulnerable creature from a mere moment before seems to withdraw behind that cultured veneer once more. Yet you cannot shake the sense that those turquoise depths remain focused with laser-like keenness upon your every minute reaction, probing for the slightest slippage or falter in your presented facade. The Thestral guards overhead bank in a wide, lazy turn, steering your conveyance away from Ponyville proper. As the thatched rooftops and bustling town square recede into the distance, you spot an even more looming silhouette resolving itself against the midnight horizon ahead. Canterlot Castle, home of the diarchal rule of Equestria's day and night royalty. The grand, sweeping spires gleam like polished obsidian and opalescent pearl beneath the waxing moon's lambent glow. Your heart begins to quicken, despite your best efforts to soothe its anxious cadence. After over 1,000 years, you finally returned to the hallowed halls of Luna's celestial palace. Whatever destiny awaits you within those vaunted towers remains unwritten, but bound to prove utterly pivotal. One way or another, this fateful reunion between immortal princess and prodigal paramour shall be set into the eternal annals. End of chapter 1. First time writing a MLP fanfic in nearly a decade. You know, there's a couple of places where I feel like I could have trimmed the fat, as it were, when it comes to things like purple prose and whatnot. But I think I did pretty good for the first time in about a decade. What do you guys think? Did y'all enjoy it? It's pretty good. Pretty good. Hopefully. All right. We'll go ahead and let that set for a little bit as I get the other stories set up here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. Got that all taken care of. Okay. Ah. All right. Yes, yes. Oh, all right. You know, Senkuv Leo, funny story about that. The other day I was looking at the feedback from FemFiction on the newest chapter that I posted. And funnily enough, Rob Cakerin53 himself, the writer of My Little Dashie, wrote a comment, and he's like, "Man, I love what you're doing, but I gotta know what's gonna be happening next. I love their dialogue, but man, the suspense is killing me to see Celestia's reaction. Either overwhelming positive to see that he's back, or she's going to want to obliterate him for what he had caused. So, you know. I think I'm doing pretty good if I'm getting fucking My Little Dashies writer to take a look here. Anyway, if you guys want to take a gander at that, I'll go ahead and drop the link here again, just in case. I have actually just this weekend posted Chapter 2. We're not going to read it tonight because it's another 14,000 words. It is a lot better, I will say, than Chapter 1 in terms of like cleaning up all the purple prose and stuff. No more, not nearly as many ethereal main, inscrutable depths, etc., etc. But you know, that'll be something that you guys can indulge in here in just a second. Anyway, I will be right back. I'm going to grab me a glass of water to assist with moving on with these next few stories, and we will be right back with the next one. And we are back with a special guest voice actress tonight.
You'll never guess who it is.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, for this one, we're going to be doing a little bit of a little tag team voicing.
Yeah.
We're going to try and do this. So, this is going to be very interesting, guys. So, we just read the first story that I wrote in the last, like, almost decade, right? So, Lightning Burn 324 requested a while back one of my stories that I wrote back in 2012. Oh boy, howdy, the difference in writing quality is staggering. But we're gonna read it anyway because he very graciously requested it. So, now then, we will get right into Colors of a Rainbow, Chapter 4 specifically. I don't know why he chose Chapter 4, but you know what? That's fine. So, you are anonymous and you work in the Rainbow Factory, but what's it for? So, Chapter 4.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, that's you.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Rainbro was.
Rainbro.
This is actually fitting because I don't do a very good Rainbow Dash impression, but I do a decent cringy Tales from Sonic impression / just that dweeby kid in an anime.
Let's hear it.
So, okay. Did you see that? That was awesome!
Rainbro exclaims, thrusting her hoof into the air before falling back into the couch. For many hours, the two of you have watched movie after movie after movie, and the stack of movies you had stockpiled to watch didn't show hardly a dent in the pile made. And it had already been 6 hours. It's nearly 3 a.m. Hey, bro, how about we call it a night after this one? It's pretty late and I'm about to crash. Her eyes hover over to you and she nods.
Alright, but there's still a storm outside.
She says, looking out.
Don't know if I'll be able to fly through it all.
She's had a lot of cider. That statement's probably truer than you want to admit. All right, well, why don't you stay here tonight? I've got more than enough room. She smiles up at you.
Really? Aw, dude, thanks a bunch.
She exclaims, bumping your shoulder with her hoof. You smile back at her, nodding. No problem. Can't let a bro go without a place to crash for the night. Besides, it's just one night. Can't hurt.
It'll be just like a sleepover.
So fucking...
Keep going.
Oh, she exclaimed, pumping her hoof into the air.
Man, we haven't done anything like that in years, haven't we?
They're saying you sound like Ryuko from Kill la Kill. Oh my fucking god, you do. You do.
I haven't seen that anime yet, but I want to.
It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, come to think of it, she's right. The last time you two of you had a sleepover was when the two of you were still young. Rainbow came down and spent the night with you. And Fluttershy. Ugh, damn it, Anon, stop dwelling on that. That's it. You're going to Fluttershy's house tomorrow to try and patch things up. First things first, though. Sleepover with Rainbow. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Last night was awesome.
Are you laughing at your writing?
I am laughing at my writing. Mostly because I imagine I had a pause of some kind, like a line between the two posts here.
Like to indicate time passing?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I didn't put it in the film fiction version.
that's funny.
Last night was awesome. Cider and movies as long as your bodies could last before crashing on the couch. You awaken to the bright lights shining directly through the window onto your eyelids, piercing through them and into the retina of your eyes. Damn, it was like every receptor inside was screaming out at you to move out of the light, but your brain couldn't form the correct function command to the right muscles. Ah, there we go. Time to move. Wait, no, not your eyes, you fucktard! The sun, it burns us! You struggle a bit, flailing your arms around helplessly before falling off the sofa and onto the hard floor, smacking the back of your head against it. Ow. That's when you hear it. The sound of hooves clopping on the floor.
Clop, clop.
Finally awake, huh?
Hey, you! You're finally awake!
Oh, you're finally awake.
You hear Rainbow's voice as she trots casually over to you, peering down from above you. If I had written this story nowadays, I would have put it just like that. Hey, you're finally awake, huh?
Oh my gosh.
You don't respond.
Yo, Non. You alright?
Now that one was a reference. She taps your forehead lightly with her hoof.
I know.
Now is the time to strike. You reach up quickly, taking hold of her hoof and pull her out from under her hooves, causing her to almost fall to the ground. Almost. She anticipated your strike this time and flapped her wings, allowing her to levitate above the ground without falling victim to your clever ruse.
Saw that one coming. You'll have to do better than that, Anon.
She grins down at you. Oh, that sly little...
Oh,
Forgot about one thing. You continue to have a grip on her hoof.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. You grin up at her before rolling over and getting to your feet, keeping hold of her hoof as you once again repeat the process from the night before, slamming her down once again onto the couch, pinning her. She gasps, squirming around a bit like the night before, but this time you were prepared. She is unable to break free of your grip this time around.
Come on, Anon, cut it out.
She laughs, continuing to wriggle around, trying her best to get out from under you.
It's clearly, fuck. It's nearly midday. Come on, dude.
Nope. You grin down at her, and immediately her eyes widen and her pupils shrink to the size of pinpricks.
No, not that.
Yep.
No, stop!
She yelps out, unable to control her laughter. Say it! You snicker before once again pressing your lips against her belly, blowing hard and causing her to squirm around helplessly.
Ugh, come on, Anon, quit it!
She manages to get out between uncontrolled guffaws. Say it and I'll stop. You repeat it, and this time she finally cracks under the pressure.
All right, fine, I'll say it.
She looks you square in the eye with the most serious expression you've seen on her in days.
Anon.
She begins before muttering something inaudible to you. Oh, I'm sorry, what was that? You smirk before once again blowing on her belly, causing her to yelp out again.
No! Anon got the jump on me, and he's the best, most awesomest bro in all of Equestria. Now let me go!
She quickly exclaims, wriggling around trying to get free. Haha, now you have to tell all the people you work with.
What? No way!
She exclaims, her eyes widening.
That wasn't part of the deal!
I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further. You grin, speaking in the deepest, grittiest voice possible. For some reason, it seemed fitting.
Fine!
She mutters in defeat, sighing.
Now will you let me go?
You laugh before letting her go. All right. So it's... Oh, good. Oh my god.
What?
Whoa, $50.
Whoa!
You always bring a smile to my face. I am happy to do so, Ryani Dragon Wolf. Thank you so much for the Streamlabs message. All right. You turn and look at the clock. 2 in the afternoon. Probably should be getting up right about now. She snickers and nods, pushing herself up off of the couch and into the air.
And dude, you should really get a shower.
God, that's so bad. She laughs, pressing her hoof to her nose. You sigh, chuckling a bit. All right, fair enough. I'll be back in a little bit. She nods.
I'll see if you have any food I can eat.
You smirk before heading up the stairs. Knowing her, she's gonna empty your fridge. You let out a sigh, closing the door to your bathroom, and slip out of your clothes. The bathroom itself is fairly small. Oh my fucking god.
What?
You're being silly.
No, I'm not.
You're being a silly Billy.
No.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Okay. Let's see. The bathroom itself is fairly small. They only built it a few years ago before you had your growth spurt of nearly 1.5 feet. Now you can barely move around in the shower without smacking your elbow or head in the wall of on a wall or the shower nozzle. You stretch, grinning before walking inside the small shower area, closing the sliding glass door behind you. Ponies, despite being a different species, had very good craftsmanship and managed to create a fully operable shower system for you. You flip a lever and turn a knob to the desired heat that you would like, and stand for a few seconds in there before the warm water begins spraying down from the shower nozzle. It was relaxing, especially after the events of the night before. You don't think you've ever had so much Applejack Daniels before. Your relaxing moment in the shower was short-lived, though. You remembered that Rainbow was still in your kitchen, which meant you had to move quickly. You quickly wash up, making sure to get behind your ears. You're not entirely sure why, though. It's as if it had been drilled into your head for as long as you can remember, and maybe even before that. You weren't from Equestria, after all. You knew that much. You'd not seen another one of your kind before, and the closest resemblance they had were Minotaur, even then you didn't have any hooves or horns or feet. Or any horns or hooves for feet. Nonetheless...
No feet.
No hooves, no horns, no feet.
Just pegs.
Just pegs. I'm Peggy the Pirate.
Okay.
Oh, God. All right. Nonetheless, you've not allowed this to hold you back. Thanks to your bro, you managed to get a position at the Rainbow Factory, which was essential for the Pegasi to create the weather all around Equestria. They would bring the ingredients in, which they called sources, and they'd announce the color. You'd push the corresponding button to said color, pull the lever, and voila! Color would run down the chutes into the vat of what they called spectra, which would power the rest of the weather devices all around Cloudsdale. In your eyes, you had the most important job in all of Cloudsdale. No, in all of Equestria. Without you behind the wheels at the factory, the ponies wouldn't be able to control the weather, which would mean crops wouldn't grow, which meant ponies would have no food. You were the one providing for all of them. Everything kept going on because of you working the machine. You grin proudly as you get dressed. Because of you having a job, you were able to buy your own clothes from Rarity's boutique. She was such a generous unicorn and swore that she'd let you take as many clothes as you'd like, as long as you did modeling for her. You did on occasion, but you preferred being able to earn your own clothes through your own hard work. Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next dialogue to happen.
Right.
There's a lot of description.
Yeah, there is a lot of description. I can also see a lot of difference between the way that I wrote before and the way that I wrote now.
I'm keeping my tongue limber.
Yes, I can tell. She was actually the one that modified the pony's lab coat for your measurements. There weren't any other Pegasi that were quite as large as you were, so the longer lab outfit definitely gave you a lot more class than you had expected. She even split the back a bit so the bottom wouldn't get in the way if you were moving quickly. You looked at yourself in the glass mirror for a few moments, checking your face. You were starting to get a bit of shadow going on down your jaw and chin, but you don't mind. You'd shave it by tomorrow morning. Today was your day off. Time to chill out. You speed down the stairs and leap over the railing around halfway down, landing on your feet with a loud thudding noise. Hey bro, you better not have eaten all my stuff. You laugh as you head into the kitchen, and sure enough, Rainbow's got roughly 3 days worth of food stacked up onto the table. She turns and looks at you with a grin.
I was wondering when you'd get here. I didn't want to eat all of this by myself.
You smirk, walking over and scraggling her mane before sitting down across from her, the two of you scarfing down food left and right.
Nom nom. Nom 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 nom.
You were starving after last night, and the food set out before you was more than appetizing for your tastes. So hey, I was thinking we could drop by Fluttershy's place today. Oh, go ahead and get that.
Okay.
I'll read the rest of this.
I'll be right back.
You mean you can read my lines too?
Yeah, I can read your lines too. I'll do my Tails impression.
I'll at least get it out of the bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get it out of the bowl and then lock it in. We've got a water filter that just got done soaking the new filter, so she's gonna close and lock that in place. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking we could stop by Fluttershy's place today, see how she's doing. Excuse me. Rainbow's eyes widen and she looks up at you, swallowing the bite she was chewing on. Oh, you're back?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, your line.
Where am I? Where?
You sure, Anon? I mean, you two haven't exactly been talking to each other lately, have you?
You shake your head, sitting up in your chair. Well, no, we haven't, but I feel like we can put aside our differences for the time being, and really start to get to know each other after all this time. Reconnect, you know? She hesitates for a moment, then nods.
Yeah, I can see that.
she says, smiling at you.
Hey, why don't I come with you too? I've not seen Flutters in a while. It'd probably be good for both of us.
She hops out of her chair as soon as she finishes her plate and floats over to you.
Think of me being your wing pony. A wink.
She winks at you, and you grin back, scratching her head again before finishing up your plate as well, bringing both over to the sink. All right, let's head out. As you walk outside, you take notice of how sunny it was compared to the night before. Looks like the Pegasi managed to clear the skies for today. Perfect. Just what you needed. You didn't arrange for a beautiful sky like this, did you? You turn to Rainbow, and she gives you a sly grin.
I may have had some word in it.
This fucking mare, dude. This mare right here, she always got your back. You chuckle, reaching down to tussle her mane, getting a mix of a laugh and an annoyed groan from her. Let's go. You stretch a bit before sprinting off towards Fluttershy's cottage, your bro flying alongside you, a rainbow streak trailing behind her as she speeds off past you. Oh no, she doesn't. You pick up your speed, and eventually the two of you are neck and neck once again, just like your childhood days. Man, this brings you back. And with you distracted from nostalgia, Rainbow manages to speed off once again, closing the distance between her and Fluttershy's cottage even faster than before. Just as she's about to make it to the cottage, however, you hear a whistle sound from above. Rainbow immediately stops and turns her head to the sky. You take this opportunity to speed past her and claim your flawless victory as first to reach the cottage. Ha ha! I win! You turn and see Rainbow talking with a masked pony in a lab coat. He hands her a package and nods, saluting to her with a hoof, before speeding off towards Cloudsdale. You already knew that some ponies at the factory would wear strange outfits, but you've never seen an outfit like that before. After a few moments of staring at the package, she walks up to you. Hey, what was that all about? She seems a bit distant for a moment, but then snaps back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Oh! Sorry, nothing.
She says, looking up at you. Who was that? I don't think I've seen a pony dressed like that before.
Oh, he's one of Dr. Atmosphere's employees. They work on fixing the machine in case any problems happen, so they're always wearing those masks to protect themselves.
She says, smiling at you. Huh, seems legit. Back to re-befriending Fluttershy and on. You walk up to the door and knock 3 times, just as you always did when you were growing up. That should get her attention, hopefully. You wait a few moments before knocking again. Still, no answer. Fluttershy? You there? As you wait, Rainbow starts opening the package. Inside, there's a book. Huh, didn't know she read. What's it called? She looks at both covers, shrugs, and opens it.
Dunno yet. Guess I've got to read to find out.
While the two of you wait outside Fluttershy's cottage, she begins reading the story. After around 3 minutes, her eyes widen. Huh? What happened? She shoots her eyes at you, then back to the book, then repeats the process 2 more times before looking side to side, her wings shooting up. Oh boy. You knew what that meant. You'd seen and heard about it while in the break room. You had a keyword for it that you never shared with anyone. A wing boner. And it was perfectly fitting for the situation.
I gotta go.
God. She says, speeding off into the distance towards Cloudsdale, carrying the book with her. As she flies away, you can't help but unwillingly catch a glimpse of her nethers as she flies off. As you expected, they were rosy with arousal. God.
Literally.
Well, suppose she has to take care of it one way or another. She's your bro, so you don't mind her heading off to take care of some pent-up stress. The two of you had an understanding. And then this is Fluttershy.
I know.
Yeah.
Is that you, Anon?
Oh yeah, the reason you came here. You turn to the door, and on the inside you're horrified, but you manage to keep your composure on the outside and even smile. Hey, Fluttershy, long time no see. Her long pink mane is completely disheveled, and her body seems a bit frailer than you remembered her being. What could have happened?
It's so nice to see you, Anon.
End chapter 4. What could have happened, I wonder? I don't remember. I wrote this over a decade ago.
Rainbow happened.
Rainbow happened, I guess. I don't know. But you know what? I'll go ahead and drop the chapter right here. Yeah, it was out of pocket. Goodness. Yes, hello.
Hey.
You like ponies?
Yeah, I like ponies.
Nice.
All right, here, give me a second. I'm gonna. Oh my goodness! Oh my, you cheeky breaky.
No,
All right,
not I.
all right. We're gonna step away real quick. I'm going to fix up the water filter and get that fixed up, and then we'll get right into the next story. So I will be right back. And we'll do that. All right, and we are back. So, let's see. Oh. You good.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Snap, crackle, pop. We got drinks. Woo!
Ow,
Woo! All right, so... God. My throat. All right. Yeah, I need to be careful with that. So...
Next story.
Next story is, let's see here. It is The Indomitable Human Spirit by Anon the Writer. So, before we get started there, Lightning Bird 324, you said an MLP story featuring Luna. Okay, so you said that to me directly. Okay, I got that. We are family. All right. All right. Got that. Let's see. All right. There we go. All right. So, next up, we have The Indomitable Human Spirit by Anon the Writer. Aaron is the man with a steely determination to fight tooth and nail to keep those he cares about alive. This is a man with moral integrity and fighting spirit. Pierce the heaven and destroy the logic of the new world he lives in. Please believe that Aaron, oh, it's, oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. Ah, shit. Here we go again. Okay, so...
Oh, so like all the main six are in this one then.
Yeah, so all the main six, Spike, Aaron, and then male and female enemies. Okay. This is going to be...
Laborious.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because I'm colorblind. So
oh, no, yeah,
we're going to be...
Oh, no.
All right.
Well, yeah.
All right.
How about just take a screenshot of the color guide and then pull that as a separate window?
Well, I should be able to. I can.
So that we can just remember.
I can try here.
Okay.
So, the indomitable human spirit. In the light of the afternoon sun, the human lay twisted amongst the rubble of the mountain, a crater made of his human body. Pain pulsed through his mangled limbs and shattered bones, each breath a struggle against the weight of his injuries. As the sun cast its light upon his body, upon the scene of a broken body of this human, his mind stirred with fragments of memories, moments of his childhood, and times of his life that led him to this moment in time. He tried to recall the moments before that led him to this, perhaps, bloody scene. Somewhere on Earth. It was a beautiful sunny day in the unknown depths of the mountain. Clouds of fog had moved in while Aaron was napping on his home, away from the stresses of everyday life. Aaron was a man of little in his life, but when it came to the comforts of vacation spots, his cabin in the mountain range was like a family heirloom he had recently been given to him by his father. He recalled stories about his father and grandfather building the cabin in the mountain range to hide away from the government. Interestingly, the government still had no idea about the cabin and its ungovernable farmland. This dude's sounding like Ted Kaczynski. I'm not liking the start of that. Anyway, Aaron woke up from his nap only to see a gun pointed to his head. Aaron held his hands and said, "So, where's Jessica?" "She's in the car waiting for me to shoot you." "Then I assume she feels cheated because I got the cabin?" "No shit, Sherlock. That's when the will we saw clearly stated everything that was supposed to go to her." "My dad knew Jessica was never faithful. That's why he made that fake will and had her sign it." Jessica retorted,
"All you had to do was hand the cabin over to me, you little shit."
Aaron looked over at her with the gun still pointed to his head and said, "Jessica, I think you know as well as I do that this was more family-oriented than what some daft cunt deserves. But by all means, kill me and take this home." Before Jessica's new boy toy could shoot Aaron, Aaron kicked him in the balls, ripped the gun out of his hands, and shot before the guy could even beg for his life. Aaron got out of bed and watched Jessica with the gun pointing at her. Jessica, pissed, said,
"Kill me, but I know this, but know that, oh, fuck." "Kill me, but know this, my father and his gang are waiting in the forest line for me. So if you kill me, then you'll have signed your death warrant."
"You're right. Well, you're right. But if I'm going to die, then I'd rather die fighting than die like a bitch." Aaron shot her in the head and watched as her blood and gray matter slowly trickled down the back of the log wall. Wow. Off to an interesting start already. Hours later, Aaron lay on his back with several bullet holes in his lower abdomen as he tried to show effort to reach his gun. An older man slowly walked over to his bloodied body. Aaron nearly had it in his hand, and the older man's foot kicked it out of Aaron's reach. The old man stepped on his hand and calmly asked, "So, what did you do, Aaron?" "Oh, you know, something idiotic and ridiculous. I bet you thought you'd get out of this one, didn't you?" Aaron went from a pained voice to a calm smile and responded, "Nope. I knew death was waiting for me, but I'd rather take all of you with me than die like a bitch." The older man, now confused and before he could react, saw Aaron pull out a button, and as he pushed it, Aaron set up the explosives under the cabin. God, this is interesting. All right. Anyway. Aaron, with a jolt, a surge of panic washed over him, igniting a primal instinct to survive as he felt the heat and adrenaline rush through his burned and destroyed body. As he lay there, his mind a whirlwind of pride and joy, knowing he took the lives of those scumbags who took what they wanted and killed whoever, Aaron felt at peace and had a moment of relief. He opened his eyes and, in a smoky white void, saw something moving through it. He saw the man he once loved and cared for walk up to him, and that's when Aaron said, I did it. Though I should have done it farther away than where I was.
Who's blue again?
I think that's his... He didn't even...
That's Rainbow Dash. Yeah.
I don't think that is.
Well, it's colored that way.
I think that's supposed to be his dad.
Well, I guess his dad is Rainbow Dash.
I guess his dad is Rainbow Dash.
Well, I admit it was a spectacular sight, but I agree with what you said earlier. You did something idiotic and ridiculous.
So what happens now? Aaron asked with a frown.
You have two choices, Aaron. Follow me and go into the afterlife, or walk your path and be something more than you are. Remember, it's your choice.
God. Fucking A. Aaron looked around and that's when he turned around. Aaron looked around and that's when he turned around and said, you know I'm not one to follow when I've got two perfect legs. Aaron, yeah, see, Aaron's dad smiled, turned around
well,
and
I have four!
Aaron's dad smiled, turned around, and walked away from Aaron, slowly fading into the white foggy void. Aaron walked in the opposite direction and looked around while walking. Aaron felt the ground give way, and that's when he fell through a black hole and ended up a falling star. Equestria, Ponyville. Oh my fucking god. I can't even... I have to highlight that to read that. Jesus. All right.
Who's purple anyway?
I have no...
See, this is why I was saying screenshot
Spike.
the guide.
Spike.
Okay.
All right, give me a second.
Weak.
I'm going to screenshot this guide real quick.
Yeah, please. We cannot keep scrolling all the way up to the top.
All right, give me a second.
Okay.
I'm going to just...
Yeah,
I'm gonna just
there, that's
screenshot
perfect.
this real quick.
Perfect.
Here we are.
Yeah,
I'll just...
Yeah, zoom in on it just a little bit.
Yeah.
There
Give me
we
a second.
go. Okay.
I'm getting this color guide for the names screenshotted here. 1 second.
That's good for me.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's right there.
All right.
You are gonna have to highlight that though because
Yes,
that,
I know.
that color is
I know.
so dark.
It was a quiet night in Twilight's tree library. She was reading a book about the history of griffins. That's when Spike ran into the room and said,
Twilight! Twilight! You need to check this out!
Oh, it's Twilight. Okay.
Yep.
What now, Spike? This better be something good, unlike when you thought I wouldn't notice you selling some of the books in this library for crystals.
Twilight walked out of the library and saw Spike, oh my god, and saw Spike pointing up at a star that started falling headings for Ponyville, only to land in the ever-free forest. Twilight immediately wrote a letter to Celestia, and then told Spike to send it. When the star hit the ground in the forest, the explosion was loud, and the ground shook with the force of an earthquake. Twilight ran to the forest's edge where Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie were. Twilight asked,
Are you girls here to see what the star was too?
I think that's Fluttershy.
I know. I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Twilight. Pinkie told me her pinky sense caught something interesting, so I wanted to see it for myself, and that's when we saw the falling... I think.
Why do you think, Fluttershy?
Pinkie Pie interrupted and said,
That's because we were close enough to hear a noise from the meteor, silly.
The falling star made a noise? What did it sound like?
Pinkie and Fluttershy thought about it, and then Pinkie said,
The falling star said it? That seems highly unlikely, Pinkie.
I think you gotta, whoever wrote this has to fix this. I think that's supposed
Yeah,
to be...
they do.
Pinkie was about to retort when they heard the tree branch snap. The girls are startled and prepared in their fighting stances, which involved hiding behind Twilight.
But also, it's totally Ken and Pinkie for her to talk to herself. So
Yeah.
that like it's okay, I guess. But anyway.
Aaron, as he fell, watched as the height of his fall was either going to kill him or paralyze him for the rest of his life. The disembodied voice of his father entered his mind and said, "This is." Do you remember this?
Yeah,
is Rainbow Dash?
and said,
Yeah.
This won't kill or paralyze you, but when you land, it will knock you out for a bit.
Aaron listened, and that's when the heat of breaking through the atmosphere happened, until he was a ball of fire. This is reminding me of Half-Life Full Life Consequences with how it's describing things, honestly. And that's when the heat of breaking through the atmosphere happened, until he was a ball of fire. Aaron was able to see the land rapidly approaching. His only thought was how much pain it was going to inflict. That's when Aaron yelled, "Oh shit!" The explosion and crater made from the impact was considerable. Luckily, and unluckily for Anon, he landed in a swamp, so the effect was soft. But he was covered in mud, and the water from the impact was filling up the impacted area. Aaron is lying on the side of the crater, slowly fading in and out of consciousness. Ponyville, outside the Everfree Forest. Twilight used an illumination spell so she could see in the forest's darkness. Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie closely followed as they reached the crater, slowly filling with swamp water and a body covered in mud. The three girls cannot get a good look at the mud-covered body. Twilight, confused, looked at Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie and asked,
So either this is the falling star, or the falling star crashed right next to this unlucky anthro.
Interesting. All right.
I don't know. I'm just reading the words.
I get it. Twilight tried to use her levitation spell on Aaron, but the magic spell started flickering out as if something otherworldly had arrived. Twilight, confused, tried harder, only to feel her magic fizzle out. Twilight sighed in frustration and said,
Can you girls help me carry this thing out of the forest?
I did say Anon by accident. It's
Sure thing, Twilight, but why can't you use your magic?
Yeah, Twilight. What's blocking your magic?
Bitch! As Pinkie and Fluttershy asked those questions, Twilight was about to answer. Yeah, I said Anon. That was a faux pas on my part. A Freudian slip, if you will. Only to hear several anthros show up. What? Wait.
I don't get it either. Just keep reading.
Okay. She turned around and saw Applejack and Rainbow Dash asking,
What's happening? What's with that crater? What looks like a dead body in it?
wait a second. Is this an anthro story? It is. Okay.
I guess so.
Okay, that makes...
Oh, I guess so.
I did not register that when starting the story. Anyway. Applejack.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
happening?
Yeah, Twi. I have a lot of apple picking in the morning. Can you give us some answers? Give me the answers.
Twilight waited for a second and then replied,
Well, I was reading no less than 10 minutes ago, and then Spike told me to check out the falling star. And then I showed up and saw Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy on the outskirts of the Everfree Forest. And then we entered to find the crater. And then we entered the find the crater, because that's exactly what it says. And that's when we saw the body in the crater. Then I tried to pick it up with my magic, and for some reason it's not working. And Pinkie, it's not because I'm not working out my horn, so stop suggesting it.
Fair enough. I'll stop bringing it up.
Applejack and Rainbow Dash entered the crater and looked at the body, and that's when Applejack noticed a weird noise coming from the body. She got closer to the mud-covered body of Aaron and realized he was sleeping. Applejack, in shock, asked,
Say, Twi, you found this thing in the crater, right?
Yeah? Why do you ask?
Because this thing is still alive and sleeping.
Surprised, Twilight jumped into the crater, put her head close to his head, and heard breathing. Oh, okay. And heard breathing as if it was sleeping. Twilight looked at Applejack and said,
Quickly, take him to the library to see if he's okay. Yeah, do that.
Applejack and Rainbow Dash heaved Anon's body in a two-person carry and headed to the library. And Twilight used her magic to see if anything else was in the crater. She looked around and found nothing in the crater. That's when Pinkie Pie said,
Strange. It's almost like this body came from the sky.
Twilight quizzically replied.
You might have hit the nail on the head, Pinkie.
Twilight, with the rest of her friends, headed back to the library, only to see Applejack and Rainbow Dash by the front door, and blushing redder than an apple. What? Twilight, confused, asked,
Why are you girls out here? We need to see this body and figure out what it is. We figured he should have some privacy. He?
Rainbow Dash blushed, got more profound, and replied.
It seems he was having a good dream.
Twilight rolled her eyes and walked in.
What?
And saw Aaron's dick at full mast on the table and twitching. Goodness me. Goodness me. Twilight turned around, walked out the door, and said,
I see. Well, I'll teleport. Hang on.
Twilight re-entered the library and noticed that the little clothes on the body had been burned. She left the library in deep thought and began wondering, how did this thing survive the fall from the high, and how did it catch on fire? In a seductive voice, Pinky says,
Getting a better look at that monster's pole, I see.
Not even. I was taking a look at the burnt clothes.
Yeah, right. We all believe you.
Twilight's blush grew more intense with the accusation of Pinkie Pie's statement.
Look, I suggest we all sleep tonight and return to this tomorrow. I'm going to need to bunk with someone tonight, so Applejack, can I have a room with you by any chance?
Twilight trying to change the subject.
I guess you can, but make sure you're careful. Granny Smith sleepwalks, and she sleeps in the nude.
In the nude.
Oh my fucking god. Twilight followed Applejack, listening. Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy looked at one another, and then at Rainbow Dash, who gestured to answer the question those two had been asking. Rainbow Dash silently said,
It was no shit this big and different from the usual anthrostallions.
Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy both peeked through the front door and saw the manhood Aaron was rocking, and it was still up like a light pole, showing signs of life. Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie gasped quietly in surprise, and then returned to their homes with the size of Aaron's mast in full view of any who entered the library. Fluttershy returned, looking to see if her friends noticed her. She went into the library, moved Aaron's body to the floor, and set him up sideways. Then Fluttershy stole Twilight's blanket and covered him. The fact that she was trying her hardest not to look at his elephant trunk was a testament to her willpower and kindness. Fluttershy was watching Aaron's body and breathing bouncing while he slept. She was walking out the front door, and that's when she heard a cough. Fluttershy turned around, scared, and saw Pinkie Pie wear it with a smirking face. She said,
Just helping. Excuse me.
Goodness.
Just helping this thing with his sleeping position, huh?
That's you.
Oh.
No, wait, that's Fluttershy.
That's Fluttershy.
Applejack's like, no!
Oh, no.
No, it's just I don't want some anthros entering the library and getting a full face of lollipops and jawbreakers is all.
Pinkie Pie asked.
Want to hang out at my place and talk about that monster? Rainbow Dash is grabbing her sleeping stuff and making it a sleepover out of it. I'm fine if you don't make me drink too much. I'd rather like to be somewhat sober in the morning. Deal!
Tree library. Morning. Aaron, dizzy and just feeling like shit overall. I have to consciously not call him Anon.
It's Aaron.
Aaron. Anyway. Aaron, dizzy and just feeling like shit overall, was about to sit up, only to hit his head on the table. When he hit it, the pain disappeared as fast as it started, fading away like levels of uncomfortable nerve activity. Uncomfortable nerve activity. I was wondering why it looked weird.
Uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Or uncomfortable twice.
Yeah. With his eyes still closed, Aaron got up and used the blanket to cover himself. Not paying attention, he accidentally fell down the stairs into the basement. When he hit the bottom of the stairs, he lay there waiting for the pain to subside. Aaron, in frustration, said, Sigh.
He says sigh.
He says sigh. Guess this isn't my home after all, and it wasn't a dream.
LOL.
LOL. Groan.
Groans.
Now fully awake, Aaron got up, realizing he was naked underneath the blanket. That's when he climbed the stairs back to the front room with many books on the shelves. Aaron saw a chair, sat down, and waited, only to get bored. Then he pulled out a book from the shelf at random. Aaron sat back down and got to reading, only to realize he couldn't understand a single character in the book. Aaron closed it and said, Well, shit, I'm bored. A voice from upstairs replied,
What'd they reply?
It's Spike.
What's boring and what does shit mean?
Aaron looked up and saw a purple and green anthro dragon and said, Either I'm high or not high enough. But if you must know, I can't read this language, and the word shit is a word that means poop, but in harsher wording.
Cool, so it's like the word buck then.
No, the word buck is a more like a horse bucking and kicking. See, the word you mean to say is fuck with an F, not a B.
Spike, by the way.
Aaron.
Say that again? I think I heard you.
Aaron.
So, you mean anon as in shortly?
Aaron, confused, retorted, no, A-A-R-O-N. Aaron, that's my name.
Right, A-N-O-N. Anon, that's how it sounds.
Fuck it, I'm not too attached to a dead name anyway. Spike, confused, asked,
What do you mean, dead name?
well, Spike, that was the name I died with. That's the wrong died.
I know, I cringed at that too.
And I am in some cool badass dragon world, I presume, and will be granted some sick kick-ass name by you.
Well, Anon, if I were to grant you a cool name, then it'd be like Bloodnail or Thorn. What do you think?
I like Bloodnail, but Thorn works better for simplicity in a general sense.
Anon, I think I should tell you this place isn't inhabited by dragon anthros. It's inhabited by pony anthros. I work for one of them and live here.
Well, that's interesting. I never would have guessed that you work for a librarian.
Try a total nerd and a bookworm.
Got him! Gotcha, bitch!
I'm a what, Spike?
Oh.
Would you look at the time? I gotta go. See you, Anon.
Spike, in shock, ran away in a panic so as to not get scolded by Twilight. Her mother figures. Spike is a boy. His mother figure / boss. Aaron turned his head and looked at Twilight as she walked in with her friends. Twilight sat down and was about to say something when Aaron replied. Aaron said, "Thank you."
For what?
For covering me up. I'm hopeful some guys brought me here, but if not, thank you for bringing me here and not leaving me in that forest. Ivy girls didn't see something shameful, and thank you for covering me up with a blanket so nobody could walk in and see my naked body.
You can thank Rainbow Dash and Applejack for carrying you back there, though I don't know which covered you with a blanket.
It was me. It didn't seem right just to leave him in a cold room with his...
Thank you, Fluttershy. Let's not get into that, please.
The majority of the girls were blushing and smiling seductively. The fucking face you just... Aaron was confused, thinking about it, and then it clicked. Aaron asked, "You girls saw my dick, didn't you?"
I walked in and it was hanging all out on the table. It was impressive how hard you were.
Aaron sat there with a blank stare, and the red slowly came in, and that's when he said, "So, is this like a pity party or just trying to get information out of me? Look, that's how human genetics works, okay?"
This is not a pity party. All we are saying is some of us caught sight of it and not judging.
I am, and I got to say you have first place in my list of those who've got the length and the girth, and trust me, I've seen them all.
Pinkie Pie, enough, please. We are trying to have a serious discussion here.
Yeah, Pinkie, what's wrong with you? Aaron reiterated, but made a specific hand gesture to get more questions about her rating later. Aaron got serious and asked, "So, your name is Twilight, then Pinkie Pie, then Fluttershy, and you are Applejack and Rainbow Dash, and you are..."
I'm Rarity, darling. And I would like to say I wasn't with the group when they had found you. I was sleeping, you see.
Thank you for the honesty, Rarity.
I'm a fashionista and would love to help you make new clothes. What's your name?
Right, Spike called you Anon, right?
That was Twilight.
No, is it?
Yeah, that's Twilight.
Oh, wait, yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Right, Spike called you Anon, right? I'm Twilight.
Oh, hey,
The bookworm.
The bookworm. Aaron sighed and said, "My name is Aaron, not Anon."
That's what I just said, Anon.
Fuck this. Yeah, it's Anon or Thorn. I don't care.
Can I call you Morningwood?
You can if I'm drunk. Any other time, it's a hard no.
Okie dokie.
Anon sat back in his chair and took a heavy breath in and out. And that's when Applejack asked,
Are we bothering you, Sugar Cube?
"No, I'm just contemplating if I'm on drugs or in purgatory or some sick torture to tempt my body and soul into the moral ambiguity of temptation of the flesh."
What?
He's saying we are all beautiful and that he's at a moral crossroads.
No, Fluttershy, I'm positive he's still adjusting to this new environment.
Anon replied, "Actually, Fluttershy hit that spot on, honestly. All the girls, now blushing and trying not to look his way, stood and sat in the library with awkward silence and side eyes.
Well, that was something.
That was certainly a story of all time. I'll go ahead and drop it on... Oh, excuse me. All right. I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat. I hope you all enjoyed our interpretation of that story. It's got some... It does have some kinks that it's got to work out, but you know, there's some good things that I'm liking there. I did like that. My fucking god! I did like that this person decided to go with an origin story for not only like Anon getting to Equestria, but also getting the name Anon. You know, because understandably, you don't start off with Anon as your name. As a human, you know, you quite obviously have a name on Earth, and so it's a very good way of like introducing the idea of Anon being his name in Ponyville proper. So you know, that's good. I'm seeing some good things. There's some kinks that need to be worked out. The narration, like actions and stuff, could use some work. There was a lot of this person said, and then did this, and then did this, and then did this. I feel like adding a bit more descriptive parts would help with that. But other than that, you know, good start. I don't know how much experience this person has with writing stories, but if this is one of their, you know, if this is their, if they're like just getting started with experimenting with writing style and whatnot, you know, that's a good start. Anyway, so there is another story here. This one looks to be just Rainbow Dash and Anon. Are you ready to do more Tails voice?
I'm warmed up, brother.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get that going here. All right. So this one is requested by what was the This was requested by Lightning Burn. Yes, this one. All right. Chasing the Wind. After making a friend who is from another universe, you and Rainbow Dash chase deadly tornadoes along central Oklahoma. With the help of Rainbow Dash looking out for when they may strike thanks to your help teaching her, you and her may be in for one of the best seasons of your life. Tornado warning. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. The sound of a van fills the ears of both you and your friend, who is also your storm-chasing partner, Rainbow Dash. She kept her eyes on the laptop that is resting on a little platform held by an arm attached to the dashboard. You are in the driver's seat, obviously driving. You have your eyes locked firmly on the road, but at the same time looking up at the dark clouds above. Tornado season had just peaked 2 weeks ago, and still being April, you are bound to catch something. However, tornado warnings have not been notified since seasoning started in central Oklahoma. Only a few minor ones were up north close to Texas and down south in in Kansas and down south in northern Texas. That is a mouthful right there. Both are too far of a drive from where you are at the moment, but you do keep a sharp lookout on either the radar or on the local television news report. How are we doing? How are we looking, Rainbow? The sky looks pretty dark. You ask the Cyan Pegasus as she rests her hoof on the laptop screen. You have taught her how to use the thing. However, she is still trying her best to get used to it.
There's a huge spot that looks like it's right beside us. Hang on.
She speaks while trying to figure out how to use the unfamiliar device. You sure, Rainbow Dash? You asked her as she brings up the picture of a real map to figure out where you are.
No.
She says to herself, now pressing buttons as best as she can with her hooves. You look to your left side and see the clouds are even darker as she fiddles with the device.
How do I get out of this?
Here, let me drop the story here. Hang on, you said, pulling over. At the moment, you're out in the countryside, only several miles away from the nearest town, which is not too bad. You reach over as you click a couple of times, as well as typing a few keys to get back to the radar. Okay, so we're in Canadian County. We're in El Reno, and it really looks bad. See this, Rainbow? You say, showing her the screen. This spot in the dead center of the radar is where we're at. The storm isn't just beside us. It's right on top of us.
Oh, sorry, bro. Still trying to get used to the thing.
Rainbow scuffs a hoof on the seat. Oh no, it's okay, Rainbow. I can understand. I'll still teach you how to use this. Speaking of which, you click off the radar for a second to check the weather status. Darn it, they keep saying it's gonna storm. You talk to yourself as you look to your left and notice the very dark sky in the faraway distance has turned a very dark greenish color. That's not good. Finally, a notification popped up. Tornado watch for the following counties, and Canadian happens to be one of them. Okay, so it says we're under a watch, and they've put 10 more counties under a watch too.
Is that bad?
Rainbow Dash asked. It's not as bad, but it does tell you to keep a lookout and be prepared. Warning means you take cover now. You demonstrated to the blue Pegasus. So far, it doesn't say a warning yet. Bang! A loud popping noise can be heard from outside, hitting the van by the roof. Rainbow Dash gets spooked and immediately hugs you tight like a teddy bear. You hug her right back as you hear it too.
What was that?
Rainbow Dash asked, calming down from the unexpected pop. I don't know, but that ain't thunder, you mentioned. Only a small rumble of thunder in the distance of the storm. Bang! There it goes again, this time at a different location outside the van. Rainbow let out a small scream from being startled.
What is that?
She asked again, this time getting more worried.
Can I go check outside?
She asks, facing you. You sure? Was all you can ask before she lets out a nod. I don't know, Rainbow. You're cut off as the blue Pegasus breaks free from your arms and opens the door. She immediately feels the warm, humid air that surrounds her once she steps hoofed into the dirt below, just beside the road. She investigates, but finds nothing. No other animals on the van. Nobody causing havoc close by. No debris, just nothing. What could that noise be? Rainbow, can you come back inside, please? You ask her, getting worried. She ignores you and continues searching. She starts to slowly walk further and further from the van and gets closer to a nearby tree. Lucky for you, she's staying where you can see her. The computer then upgrades as 2 counties are now in the red, Canadian and Oklahoma County. They have just been upgraded to a tornado warning. Just then, from the corner of your eye, a big clear ball falls from the sky and hits the road 10 or so feet from the van. Luckily, they didn't make the loud bang like what you heard a minute ago. You look as you can see, it looks like it's been halfway sunken into the road, only shattered pieces surrounding it. You look closely as it's not perfectly round, although it's clear that it looks like ice. This sends a panicked motion to your mind as another one falls right beside it. Oh no. Rainbow, get in the van now! You yelled to get her back in.
What?
Now, come on! The golf ball-sized clear balls are now starting to come down like rain. Rainbow panics and shields her head with her wings as best she can as she gallops her way back into the van. Golf ball-sized hail now raining down as the rainbow-maned Pegasus races her way. Dodging all the hailstones, raining down from above as best she can. Her wings start flapping as she takes flight and hurries to the van as if a fighter jet is making its way around the world in less than 5 minutes. Crack! Rainbow screams and lands on the ground just beside the van. She wastes no time as she stands up and enters the van, slamming the door shut. The loud banging noise is heard from all over the van. Rainbow holds her wing and groans in pain. You alright? You ask her through the noise.
My wing!
Rainbow Dash groans.
Those things must have hit my wing. What are they?
That's hail, and they're golf ball size, you say, taking a look at Rainbow Dash's wing. One of those hailstones must have hit her wing hard enough. She's bleeding. You quickly get up and look for the first aid kit. Hang in there, Rainbow, you tell her as she winced in pain.
No.
No. You quickly look for the first aid kit in the back of the van. You find it and quickly move back to the front. Rainbow lays on the passenger side as tears of pain rolling down her cheeks. You take a look at her wing again and see more blood is formed. Can I see your wing, Rainbow? You ask her. She lends you her wing and you touch it as gently as you can, being that her wings are sensitive. Oh, excuse me. You rub some disinfectant on it as Rainbow screams in pain. I know, Rainbow. You say as you can't help but feel bad for your friend. You rub some moisture on it as well to help slow down the bleeding. The van radio then goes off as 3 creepy beeping noises can be heard until a voice comes in. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for Canadian County and Oklahoma County until 3:45 p.m. The voice on the radio explained. You look at the clock on the dashboard, and it reads 3:30 p.m.
A tornado warning? Is that bad?
Rainbow asks as best she can. Her wing is still in sheer pain while you do your best to patch it up. Ow, my boo-boo. Oof, ow, my bones.
Oof, ow, my bones.
I've drank the bone hurt juice.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
It's really bad, Rainbow. Looks like we may be right in the middle of it. You said as she gently rubbed the moisture on her wing. How you feeling? Does it still hurt? You ask your friend as she nods to you. Sorry, Rainbow. I know it hurts. Just bear with me, okay? That's the wrong bear.
You're the wrong bear. No, I know it is. Keep going.
You said as you do everything you can to stop the bleeding. Rainbow looks outside the driver's side window and her eyes go wide.
Dude?
Yeah? Rainbow gets your attention as you're about to wrap the bandage around her scars. What's the matter, Rainbow? Rainbow points her hoof outside the driver's side window.
What's that?
It's right behind me, isn't it?
It's right behind me, isn't it?
You look out and you can see from a good distance dust from the cloud is swirling around and is making its way halfway to the dark clouds above. You stare at it for a certain amount of time until a very small funnel-shaped cloud is quickly formed. Soon, this mini vortex grows to a certain size as it finally touches the ground. It's a tornado.
No way, really?
A rather skinny tornado, to be exact. Also, that's kind of inaccurate to how a tornado actually forms.
Don't break the fourth wall.
Anyway.
It's a NATO.
It's a NATO.
Is that a tornado?
Rainbow Dash asks as you two stare straight at it from a 2-mile distance.
No, it's cotton candy.
No, it's cotton candy, you fucking moron.
Stupid.
You fucking stupid. Are you the weather pony or something?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you know what a tornado is?
That's what I'm confused most
Fucking
about this
moron.
story is why is Rainbow Dash being taught what the tornadoes are? Oh my god, okay.
It sure is, you replied.
You gonna get your camera?
Dash asks as you stare at that tornado. It travels to your right very slowly. Your mind goes back and forth whether you should go for the camera and film it, or would you rather care for your friend who has been injured in a hailstorm. Your mind immediately goes to your injured blue Pegasus friend, of course. That doesn't matter now, you said as you slowly and carefully wrap the bandage around her wing.
But the tornado, you're gonna...
Rainbow, it's okay. You cut her off as you're almost done wrapping the bandage around her wing. That doesn't matter now. Right now, you're hurt, and I need to patch you up. If this one dissipates before we get finished, we'll catch the next one, you said to her.
You sure?
Rainbow asked, wincing a bit in pain as you continue to patch her up.
Owie.
Oof, ow. I'm positive. I'd rather see you patched up rather than film some tornado while you're hurt, you said to her as you managed to get the bandage around her scars on her wing. Damn, already scarred.
Yeah, already scarred.
Damn. You look behind you as the tornado is still going. However, with it being so skinny and weak, it is eventually drawn back into its cloud from whence it came. From whence it come.
Moist.
There's so many fucking perspective changes. I wouldn't be surprised if it said come. Anyway. Now, no longer to your attention, and the hail finally stopped, you turn your attention to Dash's wing. Can you still move it? You asked her. Rainbow gently lifts her wing. She tenses up from the pain and slowly lets it back down. No way can you fly with a wing that's injured, you said as you get the bandage out once more. I'm gonna wrap this around you and have your wing right up on you. Let me know if it's too tight, okay? You ask her. Okay.
Okay.
She nods and stands up as you wrap the bandage around your friend. One wing left alone while the injured one is now pressed up against her body. You get it wrapped, but adjusting it to make sure it's not hugging Rainbow too much. How's that feel?
Loosen up a little?
Rainbow asked. You loosen up just like she asked.
Okay, that's good.
You sure? You ask her. She nods to you and you put some tape over the bandages on it to help secure it. Okay, I'm glad that's over, you said. now looking back to the dark storm clouds from the driver's side window. Come on, let's go back to the motel. You crank the van back up and get ready to head back to the motel room where you and her have been staying.
Hey, bro.
Rainbow gets your attention as you make a U-turn.
Thanks for everything.
What are friends for? You ask her, petting her rainbow mane as you drive down the long-distance road.
Purr.
God. Some heavy petting in this story. 11:30 p.m. The night has fallen. The Weather Channel has reported a storm. You and Rainbow Dash are back at the motel room. You have the television on and the laptop just looking at the radar. Luckily, the thunderstorm does not have supercells. So you're defiantly in this clear tonight. Goes without saying, that's the wrong word. Altogether. Just altogether.
Yeah.
Definitely in the clear tonight. Rainbow Dash lays on her bed opposite from you, her wings still sore from that brutal hailstorm. She lays under the blankets, head on pillow, and is out like a light. You just can't stop working and let her sleep while you listen to the TV and hear the thunder rumble at the same time. You look at the forecast on your laptop for tomorrow. All they're saying is that a thunderstorm will strike. However, what they can predict is that this storm may be a big one. So, there's a chance that a tornado may spawn tomorrow. Rainbow groans as she begins to wake up from her slumber. You don't take your eyes off the laptop screen.
Bro, it's almost midnight. You gonna get some sleep?
Dash asked in a tiring voice. Sorry, Rainbow. I can't stop working, you say to her, clicking and pressing buttons. That's a fragmented sentence! Motherfucker! Looks like we may be in for something tomorrow. The forecast is saying there's a big storm coming.
Tomorrow?
Dash asked when you nodded her. As you nodded her. How's your wing?
It's still sore, but it's getting better.
Rainbow Dash said. That's good. Maybe in a couple of days or so you might be able to fly again.
I hope so.
Rainbow Dash looks back at her injured wing.
So, those were the hailstorms you mentioned that hit me?
Yeah. Supercells like the one we've been under can produce very heavy rain, hailstones like that, and, of course, how can we forget tornadoes? You said to her. Although we weren't at the base of this supercell, the base is where tornadoes occur. We were just on the edge of it. You got something like that in your world? You asked her, closing the laptop for tonight.
No, not really. What? Okay.
She's made a tornado.
I know. That's why I'm like, what is this canon? What is this? Okay.
No, not really. Us Pegasi can literally control the weather.
Oh my goodness. We have a very vocal bean. All right. Rainbow mentions. Really? So storms don't happen on a certain day? Rainbow Dash begins to speak.
No, we can actually control the weather ourselves where I come from. We have a calendar and scheduled a date for rain, snow, even sunny days. We never, ever spawn in tornadoes to destroy a town on purpose, unlike this world. Although, we did make one to bring water up to Cloudsdale. Oh, there it is.
Ah, yeah,
Okay.
there it is, yeah. Goodness.
Wow.
We have a baby.
Our ghost.
Wow.
little kitty.
I bet it's defiantly something, huh?
Tell me about it.
Rainbow Dash rolls her eyes.
So, why do tornadoes happen in this world? How come they can move on their own like what we saw earlier? You can't stop them?
She asked you. Unfortunately, no, you begin to explain. In this world, Mother Nature is the queen of this planet. She's not like this Princess Celestia you told me about, but it's been around pretty much as long as this planet has. Tornadoes form when warm, humid air mixes together with cold, dry air. Rainbow remains silent as she listens to you explanation. What happens is that the hot air rises into the clouds from the ground. It updrafts into the clouds and it gives something that the tornado can feed off of. Then eventually cold air comes in and mixes in. That's when you get these swirling winds. And eventually you get your tornado.
Wow.
Rainbow Dash's eyes go wide at the full explanation you just gave her.
I have never heard anything like that before. That skinny one we saw? How weak was that?
That might have been either an EF0 or an EF1. They haven't fully confirmed it yet since it recently happened.
You explained.
Yeah.
EF0? So these tornadoes are ranked?
Mm-hmm. Yep. What that is a thing we use called the Fujita scale. You need to capitalize Fujita. That's a guy's name. Come on. It was later upgraded to the enhanced Fujita scale. What that is it measures the intensity of the tornado's wind speed and destruction. 0 does little to no damage. EF1 does moderate damage. Windows broken, tree branches broken off. Almost like an EF0, but they're a bit stronger. EF2 uproots trees, roofs from houses are peeled off. EF3 flips your cars around. Well-built homes are pretty much about skinned. EF4 pretty much tears away half of your house. It's just insane. You demonstrate to her. The higher the wind, the stronger the tornado gets. So that, breaking away briefly, this is it's a very elementary description of these things. There's a lot more that goes into the...
Well, actually...
Yeah, I'm going to actually, you guys.
Well, actually...
I'm going to actually this. There is a lot more that goes into the forming of tornadoes. You have... the reason that it's so common in what's called Tornado Alley in the Midwest is literally the area around that. The terrain is so flat that where the temperatures meet in that area is literally like the perfect breeding ground for tornadoes. And yeah, the humid air rises and then the cold air sinks because cold air is heavier than warm air, and then because of that you get the updrafts, and because the air isn't all, because it's not all evenly spread out, because it's going based off of the weight of the air at that time. That's how you get all of these different updrafts and swirling winds, and if they swirl in the correct direction and you have winds that are going one direction in one, like at one altitude, and another wind going another direction at a different altitude, that's when you have the chance of tornadoes. So it's a bit elementary in its descriptions here, but anyway, continuing onward. The higher the wind, the stronger the tornado gets.
How far does it go? Does it go all the way up to a 5?
Dash asks you. That makes you stare at her once she asked that.
What would that be like?
An EF5? Oh man, you scratch your head as you begin to explain to her. Let's just say it'll turn a neighborhood into a landscape.
Are you serious?
Dash asks you. No joke, winds over... Incorrect.
Just read what is written,
No.
you actor.
No. EF5...
Blindly act, you actor.
No. That is
Oh
categorically
my
incorrect.
gosh.
EF5 is specifically... Let me get the number.
Actors don't ask questions.
Specifically anything over 200 miles per hour. We have only had winds of 300 miles per hour once in history, and that was the Oklahoma tornado in 1999. Oklahoma City. It is 200 miles per hour is the EF5.
When I was 4 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was 7, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So, categorically untrue, incorrect information there. And anyway, winds over 200 miles an hour. It can flatten your house in seconds. It'll leave nothing but the base. In fact, let's say it can't even pick up our van and throw it a mile away from us.
My gosh.
Rainbow said.
That's just unbelievable.
I defiantly agree. You say to Dash as lightning lit up the sky for a bit, followed by a rumble of thunder.
What's the forecast for tonight?
Rainbow asked, getting worried. Just an ordinary thunderstorm. I checked the radar. We aren't getting anything other than that tonight. No tornadoes this late, you said, getting ready for bed. You turn off the TV as Dash is relieved from hearing that for tonight. All right.
Oh, that's me! That's Rainbow Dash! Alright. Good night, bro.
Night, Rainbow. You turn off the lamp as the both of you drift off into slumber, as the rain outside and the air conditioning helps the both of you sleep. So, just because it's night doesn't mean you're safe from tornadoes. It's all dependent on the temperature at that time. If the air is hot and still, you still have a chance of tornadoes, even late at night. I remember one time when we were living where we are right now, and there was a tornado at like 2 in the morning because the conditions were just right for it. So, as long as the weather conditions provide for that, you can have tornadoes even late at night. Anyway, 2 days have gone by and nothing interesting has happened. At least the season has just started, so this shouldn't be a huge problem. You have only missed one tornado, and that was much further up north. However, due to traffic, you could not make it in time. Rainbow's wing have pretty much healed up and she can fly again. Fantastic news for both you and her. Though she does manage to stay on the ground, you drive the van near a town that is now Moore, Oklahoma. Oh shit. If you guys don't know, Moore, Oklahoma is like the I think it is Moore, Oklahoma. The EF5 capital of the world. They've had like 1, 2, 3. I think they've had like 4, at least EF4 tornadoes. Something like that. Yeah. So Moore, Oklahoma. A few miles away from the sign, and you should be in it soon. However, you need gas. Luckily for you, there's plenty of gas stations to stop at. You keep driving while Rainbow Dash is sitting in the passenger side with a book in her wings. It's no daring do book that she normally talks about, but an Indiana Jones book, rather. You manage to stop at a local gas station and find an empty pump.
Well, it's no daring do book, but I guess this book is okay. It's pretty similar.
Dash speaks as she places her eyes back onto the book. I'm
dad you like it
I'm
gashy.
I'm dad you like it
I'm dad you
glashy.
like it glashy.
I'm glad you like it, Dashy, you said to her. I read that book a few times. They even made a movie about it, too. Rainbow chuckles as you said that. So I'm going to fill up this van. You want anything to snack to? You want anything to drink or a snack? There's a big storm heading further up north, so we might catch something up there.
Water would be nice,
was Rainbow's response as she takes her eyes off the book for a second to look at you until she finds her place again. All right, I'll be right back, you said, turning the van off and climbing out to shut the door while Rainbow continues to read the book. She gets to a certain part where...
She gets to a curtain part where
part.
Indiana Jones is now in a temple.
A curtain part, indeed. And a boulder is now after him.
The adjective no!
Oh my god. He manages to escape unharmed.
Whoa! That was close.
Rainbow mutters as she continues reading. I don't know, man. These things happen. All I know is that there's a storm heading up north, you said, getting back to the van on the phone. Into the van on the phone as you have your favorite drink and chips. Oh my god. You hand Dashy her water as you also give her some chips as well. She stops reading for a second and takes it, but listens to you talking to someone over the phone. Then we might be onto a big one, you said on the phone as you rest on the steering wheel. I don't know how big, Jason. They're tornadoes. You never know when you're gonna get.
I swear I misread it and I thought it said, they're tomatoes.
You never know what you're gonna get. We only missed one yesterday. Dash continues to stay quiet as you open her water for her as well as her chips.
Why'd you open my water? I'm perfectly capable.
No, you're not. You have hooves and your wing is bandaged
Oh yeah,
up.
I forgot. I opened bottles with
I
my
forgore.
wings.
I forgore.
I forgore.
I forgore. Oops, sorry.
She munches down on one and also drinks her water. Well, listen, man. Season just now started. It's still April. Give me some slack, dude. They really don't come in until May or June. We're gonna get it. We just don't have it yet. You continue to speak. Okay, I'll let you know if we get anything. Uh-huh. Bye. You finally hang up the phone and place it in your pocket. Oh, man.
Was that your manager?
Rainbow asked. Huh? Oh, no, just someone else who's pretty much doing the same thing we're doing, except he's out much further up north in Nebraska, you said, cranking the van and now heading out with a full tank of gas.
Oh.
If you want me to take over...
No. I thought I had a burp.
Oh, okay.
Was all Rainbow Dash can say as she munches on a few more chips.
Nom, nom, nom.
You take the laptop from her while she dines on her snack and proceeds to get the radar up and running while focusing on the road at the same time. Okay, so we're in Moore, and the next storm is just miles up on the other side of town. Oh, excuse me, there it is. It looks pretty bad, so if we go there, we might get a chance, you explained. Rainbow Dash goes silent. She sits up and takes a look at the radar as she can see a huge chunk of red in the direction you two are going.
You think some tornadoes will form there?
Dash asked. You never know. Only one way to find out, you said, traveling the road at 60 miles per hour. God, that's slow. This will definitely be something. I don't know if this person's from Europe or something like that. 60 miles per hour on the highway. You're getting everyone passing you, man. You're gonna have
better
like,
stay to the right.
Yeah, you better stay in the right fucking lane, dude.
Or if you're European, stay to the left.
God. Half an hour goes by and you're at the horizon. Or the location, rather. 10 miles outside of Moore, and this storm looks intense. You're still in the sunny part while the storm has not blocked that part yet, but the storm is still viewable. You pull over on the side of the road and grab a camera. Ready?
Let's do this.
Rainbow Dash gets a grin on her face as you fist bump her hoof. You both get out of the van as she stands still the second her hooves touch the ground while you go out around the front. Okay. Rainbow, keep an eye out for some circulation, okay? You asked. Rainbow nods as she keeps a lookout while you take some pictures. With a very small breeze, lightning brightening up the sky, and thunder breaking the sight. Oh my fucking god.
Lightning brightening and thunder
breaking the silence. You take some photographs of the storm while Rainbow keeps a sharp lookout. However, there is no circulation, no signs of dark green sky anywhere. Perhaps the radar was showing a slight thunderstorm. 3 minutes have went by, and the storm begins to show signs of weakness, to a point where very little lightning and thunder can be heard. You stop taking photographs as you let the camera hang down from around your neck.
I don't see anything happening.
Rainbow speaks up. This now has you concerned. Let me check the radar. You open the passenger side door and grab the laptop. You check the radar once more. Well, there is red. However, it's light red and is now disappearing. Oh, was all you can say as you see the misreading.
Everything okay?
Rainbow gets right beside the van. Yeah, we are in the red, but it's dissipating. This was pretty much an ordinary thunderstorm, you say to her, now looking through the timeline. In the coming hours, it shows that this storm will soon be over in what looks like less than 20 minutes or so.
So, no tornado?
Nope. You close the laptop and take a look at the storm one last time. You look back at the photographs as you have managed to catch an image of lightning touching the ground from a great distance. Well, even though we haven't gotten a tornado, I did catch this. You show Dash the one picture. You show Dash the one picture you token. Oh no.
Okay,
no.
I'd be happy to.
Okay. No, I've got it. You show Dash one picture you token.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, at least there's that. I'd say that's better than nothing, you said, shutting off the camera for now. Come on, let's head back to our motel. You get back onto the driver's side as Rainbow gets on the passenger side. You start the van and make your way back to the motel. The next day.
The next day.
The next day. Clouds have rolled in, although it doesn't look like any other storm. You and your friend are at the motel. You both sit in your own beds watching the weather. We are now reporting that a tornado had just hit the town of Moore, the weatherman reported. You and Dash continue to listen to the news until Rainbow Dash finally speaks.
Weren't we there yesterday?
Rainbow asked. Yeah, we were. These weather dudes don't know crap. You said,
Crap.
crap.
They don't know crap.
Don't know crap. You said, throwing a pillow at the TV. You grabbed your laptop and looked at the radar. Looks like more red has gotten back to the moor like yesterday. However, like yesterday's storm they had outside of Moore, this one is also dissipating with scattered thunderstorms. Well then. You said, closing the laptop after seeing that. Looks like there's also no other reports of tornadoes today. You said as you placed the laptop aside and continued to listen to the news.
Just thunderstorms?
Rainbow can only ask. Yeah, pretty much, was your only reply as your phone goes off. You look at the notification that has been sent to you. What the heck?
What's up?
You continue to stare at your phone. It reads, Tornado watch in Canadian County, Oklahoma until 3 o'clock p.m. Again? You asked, or you said, quickly grabbing your laptop without thinking and looking at the radar.
What's the matter?
Rainbow asks, now seeing her friend is concerned. You look at the radar and notice 3 cells merging into one at Bethany, Oklahoma. The town is in the red, and this red has gotten darker. Oh snap, it's heading to Bethany. Your eyes go wide in shock.
What?
Rainbow, it's coming. You turn to her. Her eyes locked with yours once those words come right out of your mouth. We better get going. You immediately shut off the TV and turn of your laptop. Locking the door behind you, after grabbing a couple bags and keys. There are so many fucking fragments in this story.
I know, it's painful.
How big is it?
Rainbow asks, galloping beside you, following you to the van. I don't know. All I saw was a huge chunk of red at Bethany. The storm looks big, you said, reaching the van. You toss the bag into the vehicle and start the ignition the second you two are in the van. You now start to head that way to Bethany as fast as you possibly can without breaking the speed limit the second you're on the road. You're on the road. Oh my fucking god. It is now 11 o'clock a.m. and tornado watches can last for hours on end. There is plenty of time to spare, and let's hope this tornado won't be too camera shy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow,
What
boy.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Alrighty-dighty.
Alrighty-dighty.
Let's scroll
Yep.
it down.
1 o'clock p.m. 2 hours have passed. You have reached Bethany before 1 o'clock. However, you have been driving around town for a while. The sky is very dark with storm clouds, and you and Rainbow Dash have been keeping a lookout. So far, no circulation. Yet. Okay, may need to pull into somewhere so we can find this, you said, pulling into a parking lot of a store. You grabbed your laptop as Rainbow looks with you. You pull up Bethany on the radar. The town is in red, defiant. Bro, that is not the right word. It is definitely, not defiantly. Although there's a dark red circle that is on the edge of the town to its east. Is that... Oh, that's you.
Oh, that's... Okay, misunderstanding. My
Yes,
bad.
yes,
So,
yes.
wait, pointed it out to me.
Yeah. Right there.
Okay.
Is that it right there?
Dash points at it. The live radar shows it circling. That's your tornado about to be born.
About to be born. That's such a weird way to say it, but okay, sure.
That's it! That's it! It's almost here! You said, getting
I'm
back...
coming! I mean, it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said, getting back onto the road as fast as you can. You follow the road to east as you look up at the sky, too.
There it is! I see the circulation!
Rainbow points her hoof at the rotating clouds outside of town. Good job, Rainbow. Good job. Get ready. This one's coming soon.
God.
Goodness. You said to her, eyes on the road and still driving. The town's tornado sirens have now been signaled, warning civilians that a tornado is possible in their area. Tornado sirens would actually be happening if a tornado has been either confirmed by radar or by visual sight. Anyway.
Okay, nerd.
Also, if it's to the east, it's going to likely be moving to the northeast, so it's going to be moving away from the town. Anyway, continuing onward. Finally, You are now just outside of town and onto the country road. You pull over and immediately grab your camera. You and Rainbow Dash immediately step out of the van and stare right up at the sky. You immediately start filming the circulation as the wind begins to pick up. Okay, come on, baby, come on, you mumble to yourself. Dash does not take her eyes off the nerve-wracking moment. Clouds rotating on their own. The air is warm and humid, and Rainbow can only watch and wait for a tornado to come out of its hiding place in those clouds. Eventually, a funnel cloud starts to take shape. Oh, here we go. Your voice breaks the silence as the wind starts picking up. That's it, come on. The vortex starts to get larger and larger, the trees waving more violently as it reaches for the ground. Rainbow's eyes go wide as she sees the vortex get bigger and bigger until it finally touches the ground. It is officially a tornado. Oh my god, that's a tornado, you say as you and Rainbow cannot believe it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Oh my fucking god. Rainbow can only stare at this tornado as it starts to travel to your left. You both stand there for a good 2 to 3 minutes until it is finally time to get back into the van and follow this thing.
Should we get moving, bro? This tornado's moving fast!
Rainbow asks you through the harsh wind. You're right, let's go! You stop filming as you and Dash race back to the van. Okay, Dash, keep the camera on it, okay? I don't want to lose it.
Gotcha!
Dash does as instructed. I'm sorry, I'm
He's
hungry.
over here eating cashews.
I'm fucking hungry. I haven't had anything since waffles earlier. She holds the camera with her hooves and with the help of the van door, as well as her wings, to keep the camera at least steady enough for... That's another She holds the camera with her hooves and with the help of the van door, as well as her wings, to keep the camera at least steady enough for her. You press the gas pedal and follow this tornado as it takes a single straight path, plowing through trees as it uproots and picks up many, debris flying around the base along with the dust loud.
It pains me.
A big blue flash appears at the base of the tornado, assuming it blew a transformer or a power line.
Wait, what's that?
Rainbow points her wing at a distant location. To you, it is no much, but it appears the closer you get, it is not looking good.
Is that a row of houses?
It sure looks like it. There's that, not to mention a small farm up ahead, you said to Rainbow. You keep driving as the power lines spark from the harsh wind. The tornado takes a slight left turn as it travels on the road in front of you two, tearing 2, 3, 4 houses as it does. The row of power lines start to fall. You slam on the brakes. That's the wrong brakes. It AKE.
If you sit here correcting every
I am
single
going to do that.
misspelling,
I am going to do that
you're
anyway.
gonna be here forever.
We're going to be here forever anyway. You're here forever.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. He's making cringy kissy faces at me.
Yes, I am. Anyway. And turn the van very sharply to get out of the way. Rainbow Dash loses her grip on the camera and almost falls out of her seat onto the floor. You grab the camera for her. She should have been wearing her seatbelt. Sorry, Rainbow Dash. We had to get away from those power lines. Are you okay? You asked her as she groans a bit in pain.
I'm just over here with an injured wing with no seatbelt. We're just winging it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's okay. How's it looking?
You aim your camera at the tornado as it destroys a few more houses. It's headed directly towards that barn. You kept your camera on it more. The swirling behemoth plows through the barn, ripping it piece by piece along with a silo. Oh my goodness, excuse me.
Ew.
You and Rainbow
Dash watch
in awe as the tornado now destroys the house, exploding from the wind as debris now flies around all over the place.
Holy cow!
Rainbow couldn't believe what she witnessed, even from a couple thousand feet from where you and her are sitting. Not long after, the tornado is now drawn back into its cloud. It is finally over. The downed power lines now make it difficult to drive to the houses to see if everyone is at least okay. They're not blocking the road entirely, but at least you can go by them as long as you don't touch them.
Is every pony, or everyone, okay?
I saw you cringing from that just then.
Yeah,
Rainbow Dash asked, I hope so. Yeah. We gotta be careful. There's no telling what these power lines can do, you replied, gently driving up the road. Well, I will say, when it comes to power lines, as long as you remain in the car, you should be okay. The issue is if there's, like, flooding and whatnot. Because then, you know, electricity traveling through water and shit. Houses peeled from roof to base, trees uprooted, and of course, the barn now almost looks like a landscape. There's no telling how many lives have truly been lost, but people have crawled out from storm cellars. A sign that, hopefully, everyone is okay. Well, there's people still alive, that's a good thing. You said as they watch you drive your van over debris dropped on the road from the tornado.
So this is what tornadoes do in this world, huh?
Rainbow Dash asked, looking at the destruction from this looking at the destruction this twister left behind. That's right, Dash. It's amazing what these things can do, you said, slowly driving. Rainbow can't help but feel her heartstrings being tugged by the people who have fallen victim from this tornado that recently passed. You and Dash pull up to the now destroyed barn as the family runs up to you. You guys all right? You ask them, rolling your window down.
We're okay.
The farmer said.
Our daughter is stuff on the other side of town. Do you have signal on your phone?
He asked you. You quickly pull out your phone. 3 bars, that's just enough. Yeah, I got signal. The storm hasn't blown out the service tower. You need to call her?
Please!
He begged. You hand him the phone as he dials for his loved one.
Beep
You
boop.
go to the back and grab 2 bottles of water. Wait here, okay? You instructed Dash.
No! Can I come with you, please? I want to help too!
My goodness. Dash looks at you in the eye. You sure? Rainbow nods to you.
Uh-huh.
You know what's weird?
What?
The family hasn't made any comment about the fact that there is a magical winged Pegasus in the passenger seat.
They're just respectful towards beings with disabilities.
They just think you're a furry.
They're not gonna comment. They're respectful, nice people.
Mm-hmm. I suppose you're right. You sure? Rainbow nods to you.
Uh-huh.
You look at the couple on the phone with their daughter, then back at Dashy. Okay, hand the bottle to one of them, okay? They could use it, you instructed. Dash gives an approval nod as you both step out of the van and hand them the water bottles. I'm assuming you guys need this?
Oh, I forgot the voice. Oh, thank you so much, young man.
The farmer says, taking the water bottle and taking a sip along with his wife.
Slurp.
How's your daughter? Is she okay?
She's all right, thank God.
The farmer's wife replies.
Oh. She's at her friend's house, and she saw the tornado hit our farm from where she is. She's so happy we're okay, and we're so thankful to have you come and see we're okay.
I'm glad you got to see your daughter, ma'am, you said.
Speaking of which, who are you? I've never seen anything like you before.
The wife had her eye on your friend.
Name's Rainbow Dash. I mean, wait a minute. Wait,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My friend and I saw the whole thing from down this road. Is that the wife again?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did she just talk?
The wife speaks as her husband nods. Unfamiliar that a talking pony is standing before them. But you were talking to her. You asked... You...
Are we really expecting consistency in this story at this point?
You were the one who fucking asked.
Just move past it.
The wife speaks and her husband nods, unfamiliar that a talking pony is standing before them. We sure did. She's a friend of mine. You pat her on the head as she chuckles.
I'm from Equestria.
Was all Rainbow can say to the couple who are unfamiliar with the world she's from.
Equestria?
The farmer asks.
Let's see. It's a different world, unlike this. It's kinda hard to explain.
Was all you can say to them. Well, we better get going. We have some work to do. It's great to see you all are safe.
Thank you so much for everything.
The farmer says as you get back into your van. It's no problem, you said. You both stay safe.
We will!
You all waved your goodbyes as you start the van, carefully turning around so you won't hit the damaged power lines. You drive off. And you drive off, rather. Back in the motel, you reveal You review the footage you and Dash have taken of the tornado from earlier. Dash looks outside the window and stares at the pinkish sky as the sun sets.
Man, I can't help but feel bad for all those people.
Dash says, not taking her eyes off the sky. You set your laptop down and wrap your arm around your friend. Oh, excuse me. Me too, Dash. These things do happen, but when they do, we're
Defiantly
prepared for what may come next. Whether it's tornadoes like earlier or the aftermath. People will have each other's back in the end, you said to her. I know this world isn't what you think it is when you first came here, but it does have a couple of things that people can rely on when something like this happens.
What's that, bro?
Thoughts and prayers. Faith and hope was your answer to her. Rainbow smiles.
Yeah, in Equestria, whenever something bad happens, my friends and I still have each other. This one time, my friend Twilight got a new castle and she kind of felt homesick. So we touched it up with memories from the Golden Oak Library that she used to live at. We used roots from it as the chandelier and pictures from all the good times we had.
Now isn't that something to tell? I bet she was happy.
She sure was.
I bet this Twilight is more than thankful to have you as a friend. And let me tell you, I am too. You're a great friend, Rainbow. Never forget it. Dash nods to you as you both stare out the window and watch the sunset together as friends. No matter what storm or other natural disaster comes next, whether it's hurricanes, wildfires, or even tornadoes, everyone will rely on each other in the end, and that is what will matter most. The end. All right.
And then they fucked.
Goodness. Well, you know, it would... if,
as friends.
As friends. Goodness. As friends. So, there was that. I hope all of you enjoyed my suffering.
And mine. Hello.
Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and take a real quick actual pee break. I'm going to get me some more water, and we will get on with the next story. So we will be right back. All right, and we are back. Hello, everyone. We have...
Hi.
Hi, what's up,
Hello.
dudes? Oh my gosh. All right,
Sup, nerds?
what's up, nerds?
Sup, nerds?
So we got one more story lined up for tonight. It is What's in a Name by Auto Pony. And I believe that will be all of the stories for tonight, for what we've got lined up. So, let's just go right in. And... What's in a name? Dealing with a sibling can be difficult sometimes, more so when said sibling is in a bad mood. Just ask Princess Celestia, who has had to juggle running an empire while balancing the relations with her younger co-ruling, chronically ill-tempered, inappropriate sister. Princess Luna's name was always spelled with 2 O's, right? We are family.
Yeah!
All my sisters and me.
Yeah!
Oh my fucking god. All right. As another busy day in Equestria drew to a close, the sun desperately clung to the edge of the horizon. While eager to rest for the night, it patiently awaited the gentle nudge from its caretaker to slip out of sight. Its caretaker had been patiently waiting for that time to come as well. After over 10 minutes of staring off into the distant landscape from her seat at the dining room table, Princess Celestia felt a pang of worry. Or was it hunger? Regardless, it wasn't... excuse me. It wasn't like her sister, Princess Luna, to be tardy in her duty to raise the moon. It was something she knew all too well was dear to her sister's heart, and she would not lower her celestial body until Luna was ready. Nor would she eat until Luna was seated at the dinner table. Unable to wait any longer, Celestia excused herself from the table, letting her servant know she would return after fetching her sibling. The guards stationed at either side of the doors leading in and out of the room raised their spears up straight and away from the door, saluting as the elder princess strode past, not a word spoken between them. Celestia did not need to, but she also carried more haste in her step than normal. From just a simple case of oversleeping and alarm to a case of illness and further ideas that bore little semblance of reality, Celestia's mind ran through all the possibilities as she made her way down the hall. Nary a sound returned to her ears as the carpet underhoof muted her steps. No pony other than the occasional stationed guard crossed her path. After what seemed like hours, Celestia finally reached the door to her sister's room, still firmly shut. Curiously, and alarmingly, no guards were posted to her room. To be fair, there was... Give me a second. To be fair, there were still those who were ordered to roam about the halls. But to leave a sleeping princess completely unguarded was highly unusual. Celestia raised her hoof and lightly rapped on the sister's door, anxiously awaiting some sort of response. She let only a few seconds of silence pass before she could bear to wait any longer.
Luna, sister, are you awake?
Celestia called out as she barged through the door. Plush navy blue carpet greeted her hooves as she made her way over to Luna's bed, a large lump on the mattress shielded by the silky blue sheets she preferred.
Luna, you've overslept. Wake up!
Celestia announced as she reached for her sibling's bedside.
I heard you the first damn time.
So this one's actually Luna.
Oh, L-O-L-O-O. Wait.
Yeah. It's...
Wait, why? How?
I imagine it's probably because they got swapped of some kind.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. I don't know how to do this differently. Let's see. I heard you the first damn time.
Came a groggy, grumbling reply muffled by the covers.
I'm not getting up until my alarm goes off.
Celestia glanced over at the bedside table, spying the aforementioned item, or at least what was left of it. The pathetic gizmo looked as if it had been viciously and repeatedly battered against the wall. The clock's housing, as well as the face itself, was twisted and mangled, with springs, gears, and other mechanical bits sticking out or scattered about the tabletop.
I don't think your alarm is ever going off.
Celestia replied, her voice lined with suspicion.
Perfect. Good night.
Came the quick reply. With a huff, Celestia seized the linens with her magic, hurling them back to reveal her stubborn sibling at last. Luna lay on her back, one leg bent with the other crossed on top of it. One of her white-furred hands held an odd little device, which her frost-white irises stared at attentively. She didn't look over or otherwise acknowledge she had been found, forcing Celestia to stare at the blood-red sclera of her eyes. However, one wolf-like ear swiveled towards Celestia, as if awaiting the next utterance.
Luna, have you been up this whole time?
Celestia asked impatiently. She stared at the bipedal wolf-like hellhound, wondering silently how this this was her little sister.
Wait, is this Luna or...
Yeah,
okay.
Luna.
No,
She replied with a lack of empathy.
and that's with 2 O's.
What? Oh.
What?
Luna finally took her eyes away from her cellular device? That seemed right. Luna always had that cursed thing with her. Why did they seem so foreign now?
Luna with 2 O's.
She repeated.
And stop staring at me like I'm some sort of freak. I said your name correctly, sister.
Celestia replied, confused with the whole situation. She rubbed the back of her head with a hoof as she took this all in.
No, you said my name with a U.
Luna growled.
What? Never mind that.
Celestia snapped back, shaking her head as she became perturbed by the lack of action by her sibling.
Luna, you need to race the moon so I can get the sun. We're over 5 minutes past the scheduled time. You can do it, can't you?
Luna lazily suggested. Her attention switched back to her phone as she flipped through the screen with a clawed digit.
It's your responsibility.
Celestia shot back.
By the stars, it's your namesake, dear sister. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Luna muttered with a sigh, slumping her shoulders as she stared up at the ceiling. Even as she relented, Luna's dark, bushy tail swished back and forth with irritation. With her middle digit tucked back towards her palm and held by her thumb, she finally flicked upward, claw faintly glowing. Out the window, Celestia watched as the moon violently shot into the air, stopping halfway up the sky with an equally sickening lurch.
Ta-da!
Luna said, her voice lathered in sarcasm.
Was that really so difficult?
Celestia asked, regretting it almost as soon as the words left her mouth.
Was that meant to be a stupid question?
Luna instantly replied, pouncing on the opportunity.
I mean, if you really want me to answer some dumb question... I get it, Luna.
The elder sibling interrupted.
Come now, it's dinner time and you have your duties to attend to tonight. Oh joy, another night of constant boredom mixed with a few moments of bullshit.
Luna lamented, rolling her eyes in disgust. Celestia sighed. She loved her sister dearly, but when she was in a bad mood, Luna was a handful. With no other options, Celestia summoned up her secret weapon.
Please, can you do it for your big sis?
She cooed, giving Luna the sad and pleading eyes few ever saw from the Sun Princess. This time, she even turned her lower lip outward in a pout. Just the tone of Celestia's voice was enough to elicit a groan from Luna's muzzle. Her striking red eyes met with her sister's soft and gentle magenta eyes.
Damn it, I hate it when you pull that crap.
Luna huffed.
If you wipe that stupid look off of your face, I'll be down in a few minutes.
Willing to savor even the smallest victory, Celestia finally enabled herself to smile.
Thank you, Luna.
She hummed.
Whatever. Get out of my room so I can change.
She muttered, motioning to the tattered crop top and shorts she was currently wearing. With that, Celestia trotted out of the room without another word, eager to get this rather dysfunctional evening back on track. Nearly 10 minutes had passed before Luna finally showed up at the dinner table, wearing virtually the same clothes she had on earlier. That was not to mention the hellhound still looked to be in a rather grumpy, combative mood, if her mild sneer had any indication as she took her seat at the dinner table. Celestia looked her sister up and down, making her concerns crystal clear as she frowned.
What now?
Luna grumbled, putting her feet back up on the table as she leaned back. Once again, she pulled out her phone and began tapping on the screen.
You look like you're wearing the same rags you were earlier.
Celestia mused, not bothering to hide the disdain for the attire ill-befitting a princess of Equestria.
Okay, and you don't wear any clothes, period, dumbass. Wait.
That was correct.
Any clothes, period? But like, what's the definition of period in this sentence?
You don't You don't wear any clothes at all.
Like,
Period.
period. Well,
Period.
well-
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and you don't wear any clothes, period, dumbass.
Luna quickly retorted.
At least I have some sort of decency.
Celestia froze at the response. Luna was technically correct. No pony else wear clothes. Or wore clothes. Why was that? Why did Luna wear clothes? Shaking her head free of what could only result in an existential crisis, Celestia let the issue go. It was an uphill battle she wouldn't win tonight. But there was one thing Celestia could not let go of.
Could you please take your feet off of the table, sister?
Celestia asked in a polite tone.
Why? It's impolite.
Celestia replied, already feeling her patience begin to wear thin as she stared at her sister's paws.
It's not very hygienic either. Okay, and?
Luna retorted, looking up from the gizmo in her hand.
No one else sits here. We have this whole goddamn table, and no one else sits here. Just us. In the same spots, every day, twice a day. And okay, I get it. Forget I said anything.
Celestia said through gritted teeth, glaring back with simmering frustration. Luna merely shrugged her shoulders, returning to her apathetic mood. However, the slightest smirk managed to cross her muzzle. Fortunately, 2 of the royal servants walked out of the kitchen at the same time, each hovering a dish through the air in their magical aura. One was placed before the solar princess, a nice garden salad with a ripe cherry tomatoes, crisp lettuce, and bits of carrot. Alongside was a half of a toasted daffodil, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. She didn't want to completely stuff herself. Lastly, a glass of iced tea accompanied her dish, the ice cube in the glass lightly clinking as it sat down on the tabletop. The other plate landed before Luna. A virtually raw, bloody steak, with no garnish or any sort of additions to the cut of meat. Secretly, the sight sickened Celestia, unable to fathom where the kitchen staff procured such a dish. Nor did she want to know. Just as Celestia's dish came out with a companion, a short glass of amber liquid was set beside Luna's meal. A few ice cubes settle at the bottom. Celestia was famished after all this time spent waiting for Luna to join her. She quickly unfolded her napkin containing silverware and took a small nibble from her sandwich. The rush of fresh daffodil and veggies reached her palate, making her forget of all her troubles as she savored the taste. She forgot for a moment, anyway. As if keen on being a nuisance again, Luna grabbed the whole steak with her free hand, the juices running out onto the table and on the floor as she held a firm grasp, bringing it to her eager maw. With all the finesse of a drunken fool, Luna took a massive bite with her razor-sharp teeth, pulling hard until she ripped off a chunk. Blood and juice spattered across the table in a wide arc, while she chewed on her meal in an obnoxiously loud, open-mouthed display. Goodness. Looking up from her meal, Celestia quickly averted her eyes again, not wanting to spoil her appetite at the grotesque display.
So, since you weren't at breakfast this morning, how did last night go?
Celestia inquired. She was hoping to get at least some sort of constructive conversation going.
Okay, I guess.
Luna replied, her speech somewhat muffled, somewhat garbled. Somewhat garbled by her mouthful of food.
Was there anything noteworthy as far as correspondences, visitors, or issues?
Celestia pressed further.
I don't really remember, sis.
Luna said, taking another savage bite from her food.
Did you have...
Is there corn in that meal?
Okay. Did you have any visitors? I don't remember.
Came the nonchalant response.
How do you not remember, Luna?
Celestia blurted, irritated by her younger sister's attitude. She finally sampled her salad as she awaited the expectant, indifferent response that was becoming the norm.
Probably the vodka. Maybe the beers before that. I don't know. Does it really matter?
Luna answered, staring at her sister with a queer expression.
You were drinking while presiding over Equestria?
Celestia choked out as a stray piece of carrot slid down the long pipe of her throat. She began to cough and gag, her body desperately trying to rid itself of the foreign bit. Showing at least some sort of respect for the first time, Luna hesitated to respond, sitting upright at attention until Celestia's fit subsided.
I mean, it's not like I have anything better to do.
Luna finally answered, leaning back into her chair again.
It's against the rules, dear sister.
Celestia scolded, finally able to relax after a moment. She took a hearty gulp from her glass of tea, still feeling the after effects of the body-racking coughs. Goodness.
What rules? I'm a princess. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Fully expecting to hear that phrase, Celestia focused her mind, her magic summoning a magic battle. Her magic summoning a neatly rolled scroll before her eyes. As she gently unfurled the document, she cleared her throat, searching for one particular article.
Jesus, save yourself the time. I don't need to hear this again.
Luna grumbled, tossing her food back onto its plate and folding her arms in aggravation.
Yet you keep doing it.
Celestia chastised, making the document disappear with a slight pop.
Is that not the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? I don't know. You're the one that can pull fucking encyclopedias out of her ass.
Luna sassed.
I summoned them out of my own personal repository, Luna, and you would know that if you bothered to keep one. Repository, suppository, same thing.
That's actually really good. Luna wryly snapped back, reaching over to fetch her glass. Feeling rather suspicious, Celestia seized the item with a golden glow before her sister could grab it, sliding the glass away from Luna and over to her side of the table.
Hey, that's mine! Drink your own shit!
Luna snarled, baring her teeth. But Celestia would not be intimidated by her sister's display. Instead, she raised the glass to her lips, taking a small sip of its contents.
Urine.
No. As soon as the drink hit her tongue, she spat it out.
Oh.
Not quite.
No, almost. Luna, this is rum!
Celestia angrily exclaimed.
Damn it!
Luna growled, turning back towards the kitchen door.
Which one of you idiots gave me... Wait, is that supposed to still...
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Which one of you idiots gave me rum? I specifically said bourbon whiskey. How do you fuck that up?
The door swung open in an instant with an utterly terrified unicorn rushing out into the room. Within the orange glow of his magic hovered a dark brown bottle. As if walking on eggshells, he carefully made his way towards the belligerent canine.
Do not give that to her. She doesn't need it.
Celestia shouted, rising up from her seat. That was all it took for the unicorn to turn tail and rush back into the kitchen, the door slamming behind him. Sobbing could be heard from the other side.
Oh, nice. You made him cry.
Luna mused, looking surprisingly pleased as she picked up her mutilated steak once again.
That wasn't...
Celestia steadied herself, feeling anger coursing through her veins even as she sat back down, closing her eyes. Every ounce of her being wanted to rush at her sister and throttle her for being so disgusting, disrespectful, and devious. Luna's smirk only reinforced the notion that she knew Celestia was on that edge, which only made the elder sister more furious. A little, long-forgotten voice in her head egged her on to let go, to let loose all that frustration. But Celestia was quick to mute that voice. She was already dealing with one bitch tonight. There was no reason to add another to the mix. That snide little pun caused Celestia to chuckle, easing some of her burden with just that little release.
What's so funny?
Celestia briskly
Luna
interrupted. The demand didn't stop her from tearing another chunk of bloody meat from her plate.
Nothing, Luna.
Celestia briskly responded. She knew that joke wouldn't go over well. Instead of trying to come up with something else to add, Celestia went back to her dinner.
Uh-huh. Luna, sister, just promise me no drinking while on the throne tonight, please. It doesn't reflect well upon Equestria as a whole.
Celestia pleaded, desperate for at least one small coup over her sister's antagonistic attitude.
If something happens or some pony important appears, you need to be sharp. I know it is not always fun, but it is our duty as princesses to keep our subjects safe and our lands prosperous.
Luna said nothing as she slowly chewed, glaring as she awaited some sort of concession.
You can get yourself plastered tomorrow to your heart's content after your duties are complete.
Celestia said, rolling her eyes. The softening features of her sister's face told Celestia that was likely good enough.
So what kind of all-important crap do you think could possibly happen tonight?
Luna pressed.
About the only exciting thing that happens every night is getting to a high level on Skull Crusher and my battery running low. Why don't we have a power outlet next to the throne?
Celestia's mind tried to process what exactly Luna just said. This whole night had been confusing. Everything seemed like it was supposed to be normal, but all out of place at the same time. But it had been a long day. Some sleep would undoubtedly set her mind right for tomorrow. Speaking of which...
While you will not need to directly speak with them, we are expecting some officials from Griffinstone to arrive tonight.
Celestia said cautiously.
I assumed they would arrive early this afternoon, but it seems their travel to Canterlot has run long. Griffinstone.
Luna repeated, not quite presented as a question, but not sounding fully sure of the word.
The Griffins, Luna? What about them?
Celestia was on the verge of smashing her head into the table out of sheer frustration.
The Griffins live in Griffinstone. That's their kingdom.
Celestia explained, knowing full well she was likely wasting her time.
We've just begun speaking again after several years of severed relations. They've recently had a change of heart, and they wish to try working with Equestria again, in terms of trade and other matters of diplomacy. I'm hoping this government is much more stable and reasonable, but time will tell. It will take some time. A symbolic visit from a trusted group of diplomats is the first step, and offering a positive experience during their visit will go a long way to success in the long term. Say hi to the catbirds, shake hands, grab each other's asses for a feel-good. That's it. Luna!
Celestia hissed in a hushed tone.
That is extremely racist! What was?
Luna said, rolling her eyes as yet another scolding from her older sister.
Catbird. If it's so bad, why do you just say it? Or why did you just say it? For Faust's sake, sister, do not play games. This is very serious.
Celestia said as she shook her head.
Please, just let our assistants handle the arrival tomorrow. I will exchange pleasantries. Who the hell said I was playing games? Are griffins not part cat and part bird?
Luna interjected, her focus seemingly honed on proving Celestia wrong.
Yes. If you want to break it down as simple as possible, you would be correct. They are part bird and part feline.
Celestia said, putting a hoof to her head.
But to them, that word you used is derogatory and offensive, so don't say it.
The hellhound merely shrugged her shoulders, finishing up dinner with one final loud chomp of her jaws.
Just please try to make the most of tonight and act somewhat proper. You can even play with your phone thingy. Just stay out of trouble.
Celestia tried to reason. Luna let out a chuckle as she got up from the table.
I was bringing my phone anyway, sis. If I have to do this lame shit, I'm sure as hell not going to stare at the wall for however many hours.
Moving over to the other side of the table in long, sinuous strides, Luna stopped next to Celestia. With Celestia still sitting down, her younger sister had a height advantage on her, even if it was only a matter of centimeters, and only due to her voluminous and wild hair. No, that's Luna.
Okay. You really need to loosen the hell up. Get laid or something. How many centuries has it been?
She teased with a sly smirk.
That is none of your business.
Celestia quickly shot back, feeling flustered by such a scandalous and inappropriate inquiry. Luna stared into her eyes for a few more seconds before relenting.
Whatever. I got shit to do, I guess.
She sassed, lightly patting Celestia's cheek. The remnants of her dinner upon her paw left a mess of juices and flecks of red meat on Celestia's white coat, and it took all of her mental strength not to gag.
Behave yourself, dear sister.
Celestia called out as Luna walked away, her tail swishing back and forth.
Yeah.
Luna huffed. She raised one of her hands up, the middle digit the only one extended, as she walked out of the room. After frantically wiping away the mess that her little sister had left upon her face, Celestia finished what she could of her dinner and set off for her bedroom. She hoped to get at least some sleep before tomorrow's stressful meeting. The sounds of a violent scuffle and clanging metal just outside of her door awaked Celestia from her sleep with a jolt. Her heart raced as she regained her bearings as quickly as possible. With the darkness of the night, it took a moment before her eyes could adjust to make out anything in the shadows.
Sis, where the fuck are you?
Howled Luna's voice from out of the hall.
Luna?
Celestia called back incredulously.
Sister, what is happening?
The door to Celestia's room swung open viciously, with enough force to smack into the wall and bounce back. The sheer violence made Celestia jump once again. And once again, her eyes needed time to adjust, this time to the lights spilling in from the hall. Luna's silhouette stood in the doorway as Celestia frantically used her magic to bring light to the room. A golden strand of energy flew from her horn and up into the chandelier that hung from the ceiling, finally bringing proper light to the whole situation. The sight that finally met her eyes drew anxiety even further into her being. While never the pinnacle of self-grooming, Luna's fur was now disheveled, both from evidence of exertion and the presence of blood. She wobbled a bit before steadying herself against the doorframe. Her face was twisted into a scowl, her eyes not particularly focused on anything in particular.
Your bastard bodyguard attacked me on the way here.
Luna snarled before Celestia could speak again.
Mind explaining that one to me, dearest sister?
That one was Luna. Still Luna.
Mind explaining that one to me, dearest sister?
She questioned, finishing her demand with an exaggerated, mocking tone.
What? What are you talking about?
Celestia instinctively replied. She was confused and hurt by Luna's accusation and tone.
See for yourself.
Luna snapped back, marching back out into the hall and out of sight. Celestia began to get out of bed, but before she had a chance to set a hoof upon the floor, Luna reappeared at the door. Her left hand held what looked to be a pony slung over her back, but as she tossed it further into Celestia's room, the hollow tang of metal filled her ears. It only took a short glance to know Luna's story was impossible.
You cannot be serious, sister.
Celestia said, aggravated by the rude awakening.
Are you trying to tell me the decorative suit of armor we have had in the hall for years came to life and attacked you?
Luna glared at her alicorn sister before staring down at what had virtually become a pile of scrap metal.
I didn't like the way it looked at me.
Luna muttered. She tried to cross her arms to show her disappointment, but after nearly falling over, resorted to grabbing onto the doorframe once again.
Are you drunk right now?
Celestia shouted, knowing full well the imbalance and idiocy on display could not be coincidence.
What in Equestria's name did I tell you during dinner this evening? I'm not drunk, you overgrown goose!
Luna shot back angrily, baring her teeth.
You think I want to listen to your whiny shit again about how irresponsible?
Celestia said, raising an eyebrow as Luna tried to form the word. It only made the hellhound more bitter, judging by the animalistic snarl she made in response.
I know the goddamn word, shut up!
She shouted.
The last thing I want to do is hear your lectures again. I'd rather get shot in the head.
Luna motioned with her right hand to the side of her head. It allowed Celestia to spy the neck of an empty glass bottle she held within her grasp.
Really? Pray tell, what is that bottle you're carrying?
Celestia mused, knowing her sister had cornered herself. Luna lowered her arm, looking down at the object as it held, as if she was truly clueless to its existence. She stood like that for a few moments, silently staring.
Do you want to try this again?
Before Celestia could finish her sentence, Luna stumbled forward a few steps, turning and heaving the bottle into the nearest wall. The glass instantly shattered, the force of her throw causing glass shrapnel and drops of the remaining brew to splatter the wall and carpet in all directions.
Luna!
Celestia exclaimed, shocked and outraged by her sister's actions.
What bottle? I don't see a bottle.
Luna calmly replied as she shrugged her shoulders.
Are you sure you haven't been hitting the booze? Wait, is that Celestia or Luna?
No, that's Luna.
Oh, okay. Are you sure you haven't been hitting the booze?
And that's...
Yeah, I got it. Jeez. Stop it.
It's all right.
Stop narrating, narrator. Gone. You are treading fuck. What? You were treading on...
On dangerous ground.
Right. You are treading on dangerous ground.
Celestia warned, her fatigue and anger wearing away at her resolve as she sat up straight. Her eyes narrowed at the drunken, brash canine.
I don't know what has gotten into you or why you would be so brazen and rude, but I will not tolerate this. Okay, Mom.
Luna snidely commented, staring back with disdain.
I wouldn't have to treat you like a child if you knew how to behave yourself without constantly being an ass to every pony around you.
Celestia roared back.
I don't have to take this uppity shit from my sister either.
Luna growled back.
You're sounding a lot like those jackasses from Stoneville or whatever that stupid catbird city is. You want to end up like them? For the 1000th time, Luna, stop being
Celestia froze, her blood running cold as she fully realized what her sister had just said. She slowly rose out of bed, transfixed upon the hellhound as she walked over to her.
Luna, what did you do?
Celestia asked, fighting to keep as calm as possible.
Well, I was minding my own damn business and getting a drink. Which I told you not to do until tomorrow.
Celestia hissed.
Tomorrow becomes today at midnight, you dumbass.
Luna retorted.
Whatever, what did you do?
Celestia shouted back.
Unless two of those dicks can manage to unfuck themselves and then swim their way out of the moat, I cleared up your schedule for tomorrow and solved a problem, since the rest of them turned and ran away.
Luna replied, folding her arms.
You're welcome.
In her mind, Celestia tried to convince herself this was just a sick joke. There was no way Luna could be so... She couldn't have. But she knew the answer.
Why? I told you to just stay in the throne room and our servants would handle the griffin's arrival.
Celestia cried, taking a seat back upon her bed as a wave of nausea crashed over her. All these years of peace, the hoops that she, Princess Celestia, had jumped through to make Equestria a safe haven for her ponies for centuries. All that would be thrown out the window because of her counterpart's temper. Griffinstone would learn what happened as soon as the remaining group returned home. Equestria was not going to escape this fiasco unscathed.
This can't be happening.
Celestia mumbled, holding her head as her mind raced. This one is...
L-U-N-A, I think. Yes.
L-U-N-A, I believe.
It isn't happening.
Echoed a familiar voice. The surprise of the answer combined with the oddly calming voice forced Celestia to snap out of her misery, her eyes darting about the room to find the origin. Overhead, a small rift had appeared in the ceiling, allowing the night sky to make its presence known. Gradually, the sky swallowed up the cavernous ceiling, along with the chandelier, the sea of stars lending their light to the room. As Celestia watched in utter confusion and wonder, a few of the larger stars began to converge, falling to the floor as their bright light intensified, their form growing. With a light poof, the light dissipated, a blue alicorn left in their wake. Her mane retained the same visage of the night sky from which she had just spawned.
Luna?
Celestia mumbled. Dazed, she slid off the bed and walked over to her sister, her real sister, and wrapped her hooves around her form without a warning.
My apologies, Tia. Tonight has been a busy night for dreams.
Luna squeaked out, surprised by the force of her sister's hug.
It appears I have appeared at a particularly tumultuous time.
Celestia finally let go of her true sibling after a moment of silence, allowing the Lunar Princess to take stock of what surrounded her. It didn't take long before her turquoise eyes befell the other being in the room. We have a visitor.
Aw, little kitty cat.
The other
okay,
being
in the
room.
Luna, okay.
Yep.
I must say, I have seen many things during my years of dealing with dreams, but you are quite unique.
Luna mused, looking up and down the bipedal's form.
It's a hellhound.
Celestia nervously whispered into
It's a hellhound.
into her sister's ear. Even though Celestia now realized this was indeed a wild dream, she still felt a pang of anxiety, wondering how this other, well, the so-called Luna would respond.
What the hell is that supposed to mean, half pint?
The hellhound growled angrily, her predatory eyes narrowing at Princess Luna.
It would appear manners certainly aren't your strong suit.
Luna huffed, irked by the insult.
You know what? Fuck you!
Luna suddenly shouted, pointing a claw at Luna before directing it at Celestia.
And fuck you! All I've heard is you piss and moan about every goddamn thing under the sun. Now there's another one of you doing the same shit.
Celestia.
Right. Luna, since this is a dream, shouldn't you just... And... It's Luna, you moron!
the hellhound interrupted, flying into a rage. Her fur stood up on end with agitation as she took a step towards the pair of alicorns, baring her teeth.
For the last fucking time, it's L-O-O-N.
Without a word, Luna stomped her right hoof, the action echoing loudly as everything froze in place. Luna.
I got it. I've dealt with enough shenanigans tonight. I do not have the patience to deal with such trivial nonsense as the spelling of a spoken name.
Luna announced out loud. As her horn glowed, the night sky that was overhead washed around her and Celestia, leaving nothing but the pair floating amidst the stars.
Oh, thank goodness that is over.
Sighed Celestia, finally relaxing for the first time in what felt like ages.
It just felt so... It was confusing, like... I felt like things weren't normal, but they felt normal at the same time. That is the mystery and mystique of dreams, but we are not quite finished, dear sister.
Luna replied, drawing Celestia's attention as the younger alicorn moved to face the elder sibling.
I'm sure you are aware all dreams have a reason for their occurrence, yes? Yes, I remember you explaining that to me.
Celestia said, rubbing her temple with a hoof.
But how would you explain, well, all of that? How do you make sense of it? It is not always about the content that a dream contains.
Luna replied, giving her sister the slightest smile as reassurance.
No, the events of tonight, or Hellhound, that is not important. Then, what is it? Tell me, Tia. Do you remember dinner tonight?
Luna asked innocently. The question befuddled Celestia.
Yes, I remember you and I having dinner tonight.
She answered, her brow furrowed.
I don't recall anything troublesome or upsetting, though. Do you recall what you had for dinner? I wanted something with a bit of kick, so I requested the firehouse chili.
The firehouse chili, Celestia replied again, still confused.
And what did I tell you when you made that request?
Luna said, her smile growing just a bit more. Celestia's shoulders slumped as the pieces slipped into place.
You told me I should reconsider because spicy food before bed can lead to unsettling dreams.
She lamented, hanging her head in shame.
And Oh, is that Luna?
Yeah, that's still Celestia.
Oh, okay. And I said you worry too much and I would be fine.
Celestia felt her sister's hoof gingerly touch her chin, easing her head back up. Luna met her gaze as she caressed her elder sister's cheeks with the plumage of her wings, obscuring Celestia's view of anything other than Luna.
I am not here to reprimand you, nor am I here to gloat.
Luna reassured her.
But perhaps next time you should heed my advice when it comes to sleep, yes?
Celestia let out a chuckle as she nodded.
You're right. Thank you, Lulu. Oh, you were right. Oh, okay.
Oh, you were right all along.
You're so right. Thank you, Lulu.
Right. Oh.
I'm happy I could help. And while I would love to stay for the evening, I'm afraid I must move on to the next dream.
Luna said, backing up a step as she folded her wings. The action revealed a vastly different view that had been present just moments before. Sand stretched off to either side of the pair, while just behind Luna, the gentle waves of the sea washed the shoreline in a slow, back-and-forth rhythm. A few palm trees scattered about broke up the expanse of the beach, while overhead, a cloudless sky allowed Celestia to bask in the warming rays of her sun.
I would be remiss if I did not leave you with pleasant dreams.
Luna hummed. She sidestepped out of her sister's cone of vision, revealing a lounge chair planted upon the dunes. A table sat beside it, offering a drink from a frosted glass.
You've spied on my dreams before, haven't you?
Celestia teased as she sauntered over to the inviting chair, flopping down atop it. Instantly, it felt as if all her troubles and worries melted away.
I admit, I have checked in on your dreams from time to time, more so for concern rather than curiosity.
Luna replied.
But for now, I bid you farewell. I trust I will see you at breakfast?
Celestia wasted no time in nodding.
Of course. Love you, Lulu. Love you too, Tia.
Luna said. With a beaming smile, she turned away, taking flight and vanishing into the sky. As Celestia sat and listened to the sound of the ocean, her brow furrowed for a moment. She couldn't help but allow her mind to slowly run through her dream once again, this time out of pure curiosity than being troubled by it. With all the absurdities she had encountered, one particular question burned in her mind, strong enough that she could not help but wonder aloud.
What in Equestria is a hellhound?
The sound of a high-pitched, repetitive barking filled her ears as she came to. As her eyes focused, she could hear herself. She could herself staring down at worn mahogany and scattered paperwork. That's a little
Just keep going,
awkward.
keep going.
Luna forced herself to raise her head up, wiping away a bit of drool from her muzzle, even as the phone continued to ring incessantly.
Phone.
I see.
God damn, I can't even sleep without someone crawling up my ass about stupid shit.
She muttered, trying to shake her mind free from the bizarre dream. Fed up with the continued annoyance, Luna finally picked up the phone.
Ugh. Hello, IMP.
The end. Yeah. That was a cute little
Alright.
that was a cute little story to end off the night, I think.
Yeah.
That was very, very good. I enjoyed that.
So did I.
Yeah. All right. So that is all of the requests for stories for tonight. I believe should be good to end off for tonight.
Yeah,
I think.
that's
all
good
right.
by me.
All right. Well, for all of you tuning in, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope all of you enjoyed the stories.
It was fun entertaining you all.
Yeah. Thank you, Bree, for joining in on us.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have you on for it again sometime. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, until then, you guys have a good one, and we'll see all of you in the next live stream. Bye-bye for now.